Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's yours truly, probably Pablo. Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style. Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the woman's in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know. Coach and Probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Alcigaris. Yeah.
This is Jay Crowder. Now Bam Adebayo turns and shoots, and it's tapped up and in by Jimmy Butler. Here's Dragic, lobbing inside to Butler. Good position, and he goes glass. Beautiful feed by Dragic.
Milwaukee has built the league's best defense over 2 years by taking away the paint. And Jimmy Butler gets to the rim there. That's rare.
Dragic inside, beautiful setup as he drops a dime to Butler. Milwaukee Bucks have led by as many as 11. Dragic the drive and kick. Butler left open. Got it, and we are tied. Butler, vicious.
Butler to the rim.
Butler taking on contact and a chance at three for the Heat.
And then again into the paint and draw the foul.
Butler, the little hesitation. Boy, that was a thing of beauty by Butler. He's got 27 points to lead all scorers.
Strength to finish. Jimmy Butler, little hesitation move. Hits the float.
Butler sizes him up and hits. Butler, deep three, and he buries it. What a night for Butler. 6 to shoot. Butler sizes uphill, and he hits again. He is putting Miami on his back.
Jimmy Butler just going one-on-one and getting it up over the top of a smaller defender. Huge bucket. He's going to just play this possession straight. No traps, no fouls. Just try to get a stop. There's still a lot of time.
Butler again. He has been magnificent. Butler tying his career playoff high with 36 points. 18 and 10, but he's 1 assist away from a triple-double. That's the furthest thing from his mind here is Butler inside, and he just keeps on coming.
Jimmy, when you say you love these games, are you talking these bubble-specific games, playoff games in general, or what about the bubble do you really relish and enjoy?
I love the hoop. I love to go to war with this group of guys that we have. I think Coach Pat and Spo do a great job of putting some dogs out there on the floor that just want to compete or do anything that it takes to win, and understand that it may not be your night tonight, but in 2 nights and 3 nights it could be. I'm telling you, we just got a group of guys that want to win and want everybody to be successful.
This is the Big O Show.
Alrighty, yeah. I love it. I love it. And we got super chats already chiming in. That's crazy stuff. Cody Douglas, 2 of them already. Wow, damn it. That is Jimmy Butler right there. That's the highlights and plenty of highlights to talk about last night as the Miami Heat got it done against the Bucks, 115 to 104. What a hell of a performance. Look, I am of the generation, or I am used to not taking and putting a lot of weight in the regular season to the postseason. What happens in the regular season is completely different than what happens in the postseason. Now, there are factors that you have to look at, and that wasn't necessarily the deciding factor last night. But we all know Miami is one of the best at shooting threes, and we all know Milwaukee is one of the worst at defending threes. But Milwaukee outshot Miami yesterday from three-point range, actually. So it was one of those deals where, the Bucks ended up shooting 45% from three-point range, Miami 38. And so really, Miami did not take advantage of their strength last night, and they won. And they did the same thing they did in the other two games that they won during the regular season. They have kind of that corral-type defense, that help defense with Giannis. And whether it was Iguodala or Crowder or whoever had to cover him, they did a good job overall. And there was always somebody there to help out and not give him that clean path to the hoop. And we all know that, a clean path to the hoop is just letting him get to the foul line because he's like super stretch. All he has to do is then lean over from the foul line and he lays it up right there because he's Plastic Man. I mean, that this is the closest thing that we've had in a human, a Plastic Man, is Giannis. And so last night, it was amazing because they played excellent defense. They came up with the big baskets. Jimmy Butler played like a superstar yesterday, okay? He's an all-star. I never considered Jimmy a superstar, but, dude, he played like a superstar last night. I mean, he scored every time he had to score. He imposed his will when he had to. He made defensive plays. I mean, what was it, 40 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 assists, shot 13 of 20, shot 2 of 2 from three-point range. All of a sudden now he can hit a three-point shot. Now, he's not taking a lot of them, but he's taking them in key moments, and clearly that is obviously doing the job right now. I mean, it was a performance last night that you just have to tip your hat in. I know it was it 40-29 after the first quarter, and I tweeted out, I said, hey, because I got a couple people DMing me, sending me a tweet, sending me a text on my phone, on our text line at the radio show, here on the show. Now, oh, my God, the Heat didn't start off well. This doesn't look good. And I tweet out, hey, y'all relax. Okay, rarely do I ever see a first quarter that really dictates what's going to happen in the game. There's ebbs and flows. There's all kinds of runs. The Heat will make their run and make this game interesting. Not only did they make their run, they ended up taking the lead and controlling this game and winning it. And, it was just impressive, and it was fun. It's a lot of, listen, a lot of our teams here don't do much. Let's just be honest. It's been a terrible sports town. If it's not for the Miami Heat saving our asses, everybody else is, they've got a ways to go to get to where Miami is at. Okay? The Heat is the gold standard of this town, and it's not even close. Okay, right now everybody's fighting to be number 2 behind Miami. The Heat, that is. And so last night, listen, I was happy for Spo. Are there any idiots left over that still don't believe in Spo? I mean, that's that I would hope that that
should be buried and gone, man.
Yeah,
come on,
should be over by now. I mean, if you still have a friend of yours that doesn't think Spo's a good coach, no. If you have a friend that doesn't think Spo's a great coach, he or she's an idiot. Okay? Not good coach, great coach. All right? It's him, Popovich, and Rick Carlisle. Best 3 coaches in the NBA. All right? So, to me, I don't know. By now, he proves it over and over and over again. And for a team like this, think about this. Think about the maturity of this young Miami Heat team, okay? And I know it's got veterans, like Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic leading the way, but Bam played a hell of a game last night. Tyler hit some big shots yesterday. Duncan was not a factor. Kendrick Nunn pitched in. It was really nice to see Kendrick. What I loved about Kendrick's game is that he brought it closer to the basket. And maybe that's what he needs, is to build the confidence up closer, and then you can start going out and start hitting those shots that you were hitting at the beginning of the year that you're no longer hitting on a consistent basis. But you think about the lack of success as a team. They don't have a lot of success, these guys together. And they go into the Indy series, and they don't screw around. They sweep Indianapolis. And now they go up against the number 1 seed in this conference, and they've got success against them twice in the regular season. They lost to them in the bubble. But they're, 2-1 still. They can't go into that game with a lack of confidence. And they went in there with lots of confidence. They started off poorly. They defensively allowed 40 points in that first quarter. And then they were able to rise above the poor start, the poor defense, pick everything else up from that point on. And you got to think about it, 40 points in the first quarter, right? That's 64 points the next 3 quarters after that. Okay? 104 minus 40. You're the math major here, right? 64, correct?
You are correct.
Okay, so you
give this man a ribbon.
I mean, you allow 40 points in that first quarter and against the number 1 seed, and you could say, maybe you get nervous. You get nervous. Your knees start buckling a little bit. You say, you know what? What we did in the regular season, that was just nothing. No. They went out and proved to you that what they did in the regular season might mean something. I might need a little bit more to kind of be convinced, you know what I mean? But I got to give them a lot of props yesterday, man. That was a very mature win by the Miami Heat, and they have acted mature all the way through. I mean, even young Tyler hits that big 3 towards the end, and that was kind of the nail in the coffin.
109, 101, man.
And once he hit that 3, it was like, okay, this is done. It's over. It's history. We're in. And it was fun to watch, man. It was fun to watch. Hell of a win for the Miami Heat. A lot of maturity for this team. And you look at the stats, right? And I mentioned this before. Buck shot 45% from three-point range. I don't know, because when they started in that first quarter, I said, there's no way they're going to maintain this. They're not that kind of team that they're going to maintain this kind of shooting. Can they get hot for a game or two? Fine, but this is not something that they're going to continue all the way through. So I kind of felt that things would even out as the game went on, and sure enough, that's what ended up happening. They didn't stay as hot as they were in that first quarter, and especially Middleton, too. They had a hell of a game. He had 28 points yesterday. He was 4 of 8 from three-point range. Brook Lopez had 24 points, was 4 of 6 from three-point range. All right? So two of the players that they needed to step up next to Giannis did, and they lost. And they shot really well from three-point range, and they lost. To me, this bodes well for the Miami Heat. That's what I think it is. It's a really good sign. Now, the free throws. That's where they struggled big time. Giannis obviously was 4 of 12 from free throw line. They were 14 of 26 overall from the free throw line, 53%. Miami was 92%, 25 of 27. Again, that's maturity. That's a team understanding where they're at, and they go to the line, and they know how important it is, and you win the game. The difference right there, you got 11 points. The difference in the win, 11 points. Okay? Free throws right there, 25 to 14, 11. 115 to 104, 11. That's your difference in this game. Points in the paint. Miami's defense on Giannis was the key to the points in the paint, because we all know, force Giannis to shoot, that's his weakness. Allow him to drive, that's your killer. 42 to 24 points in the paint. I mean, it's just, you look at the key stats that really turn things around, points in the paint. The rebounds, Miami 46 to 34. The free throws, Miami 25 to 14. All these kind of key stats was the difference in the game. And their superstar did not play like a superstar. because Miami forced him to do what he's not great at. And they didn't allow him to do what he is normally great at. And that, my friends, is the key to all of this. Butler with 40. Dragon had 27 yesterday, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Bam was outstanding, 12 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, great defense. And Duncan Robinson sucked. He was 1 of 4, only 4 shots, 4 points, and you still won by 11. You know, again, it's just Tyler Hero was 3 of 6 from three-point range, had 11 points. That helped defense. Butler, 15 points in the fourth quarter. He played like a superstar. It's one of those when you look at it, it's you just played the game perfectly from the second quarter on. You found your way, you figured things out, you got your composure, and you closed them out. And to me, that was just a lot of fun yesterday, man. That was a lot of fun to watch that game. And again, doesn't mean anything. It's 1-0. You know, if they don't focus, they can lose the next 4 and be out in 5. Okay? I don't think that's going to happen because I think the Heat really match up well against this team. But I'll tell you this. Miami goes out there and wins tomorrow and takes a 2-0 lead. This is their series. I'll go that far. 1 victory doesn't mean much. But if you beat them 2 in a row now, you're not going home to Milwaukee. You're not in Milwaukee. It might have said fear the deer and all that crap yesterday because technically you're the home team for the first 2 games. But if you lose those games, you have no home court to lean on. And so that's a monster that no team has to deal with. You go back to the same court every single night with no advantage whatsoever. It's not the same hardwood that you're used to playing compared to, somebody else's. It's not the same locker rooms. It's not the same group of fans that are going crazy for you right from the get-go. That's where this year it almost blew up in your face if you were killing yourself to try to get the higher seed because it didn't pay off. There is no home court advantage. So it comes down to really who's the better team. What players play better? What coach coaches better? Who's better prepared? Look at what's happening with the Thunder and the Rockets. The Rockets should have won this series already, with or without Westbrook, although yesterday Westbrook was in the holiday season because he was just in the giving mood of giving that game away. But overall, you look at at what's going on, you don't have that luxury anymore. And so Miami can really win that mental battle and send that's if the Bucks go down 2-0, they got to look at each other and go, whoa, we just got ourselves. We don't have home court to count on. We're not going back to home court. Good thing for them is they're not going down. If they go 2, they're not going to Miami for games 3 and 4. You know what I mean? That's the bright side for them if you want to spin it. But I think in this environment, if you can make somebody question themselves, they will not be able to lift themselves up because of the emotion of the crowd, because of people jacking them up. It will all have to be internally. And so that's what you've done in Houston now if you're OKC. You have put enough doubt in them that now they got to come out and play a perfect game or they're going home. And this whole small ball thing blows up in the GM's face. And for Westbrook and Harden, this becomes a disaster. Because a team that had NBA championship aspirations, which is kind of a joke because I never looked at them that way, but some people do around the league, and they're struggling with OKC in the first round and they go 7 games. That's not a good look for the Rockets. And there's no doubt that they have to look at themselves and question it. Hell, I thought yesterday We went 1-1 against the number. I thought yesterday, Westbrook would play better because it's the second game back. He actually played worse because he's the reason why they lost, basically. If I had to blame any one single person in that game last night, it would be Russell Westbrook that I would definitely, and I would also blame the coach and blame Harden to a certain extent. I would agree. I think it was Weber that was the announcer last night. You know, he was right. Harden should have been handling the ball because he's the guy that's in a groove. He's the guy that's been playing. You can't put somebody that is not yet themselves in a key moment like that. Harden is the better person at that point to handle the ball, to shoot, to facilitate, all of those kind of things. He could have made life easier for Russell Westbrook, is what should have happened. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. I give them credit. At least they're trying on defense, which is something I never thought I would see from a D'Antoni team, that they're actually playing some D. But you get to question somebody. You force them to question themselves. And you have put yourself in a really, really advantageous position. And I think that's what the Heat can do with another victory in Game 2. They can send a really strong message to the Bucks like, do we have what it takes to actually get past this team? And that'll be interesting to see on Wednesday, man. Looking forward to that matchup because you know Giannis is going to be playing like a freaking maniac in that game.
Not that there wasn't a rotation of guys helping out with Giannis, but have to say Crowder, what he did defensively on Giannis.
Yeah.
Man.
Iguodala too.
No, that's what and obviously rotate. It takes more than one guy.
Yeah.
I have never seen a guy from the foul line, like you said, spin, and I've gone back and forth with the, rewinding, and I'm like expecting to see 3 steps. Bro, I don't know how he does it, but every time he manages to just get 2 and get to the rim, man. It's crazy.
Long.
And no slowdown on the spin move. It's
he's plastic, man. He's plastic, man. He's the bigger version of Stacey Augmon. And it's just the way it is. For you youngsters, go look it up. Anyway, so it's just one of those deals. And last night, man, was just a lot of fun to watch them do what they did.
You factor in no Robinson, man. I'm so encouraged. Like the fact that he didn't even show up.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah. Oh, it was impressive. I can't say enough about what I saw last night from this Heat team and the way they performed. It was a lot of fun, and it gave you a lot of encouragement on what could happen. Kendrick Nunn didn't shoot a great percentage either. It was 3 of 9, but he got a couple hoops inside that were, good moments for him. When you look at the plus minus, and everybody on the Heat team was at a plus. Everybody. Okay? Bam Adebayo plus 10, Butler plus 7, Crowder plus 1, Dragic plus 10, Robinson plus 6, Olynyk plus 1, Iguodala plus 7, Nunn plus 8, Hero plus 8, and everybody in the Bucks except one person was in the plus. Okay? And Giannis was minus 14.
When I saw that, what?
Yeah, and Wes Matthews was minus 11. Okay? Middleton minus 7, Lopez and Hill minus 5 and 7, and everybody, only Mason was plus 2 for their team. So it just shows you again that everything was working for Miami yesterday, and it was just a beautiful thing to watch, man. The way this team was able to even overcome their adversities from the first quarter, their struggles from some of their, young players like Duncan. Nunn had a little bit of struggles, but he at least was able to contribute a couple times in key moments and really helped them out. It was just, it was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun to watch that. And I know that a guy like Duncan is going to come out firing on Wednesday. And I'm looking forward to watching him kind of elevate his game on Wednesday because he's such a great shooter. I don't see him shooting poorly 2 games in a row. I think he'll find a way to get it going. I think the coach will also find ways to get him going too in the process. Let me go to a little roll call. Samuel Robinda is number 1 today. Says, good morning, Big O. What a day yesterday. Nice wins by the Heat and the Marlins. Yeah, Marlins beating DeGrom and the Mets and the trades and all that. We'll get to that. NorCal's in. Matthew Walker, Robert Triana, Ian from Brooklyn, John Santos. Is it Niner? What is it? Niner Soul or something? I think it says peace, but thank you. Julius 305, Antonio Matos, Omar Lopez, Gus 1388, Brandon Flood. Let's see. Corey Douglas coming in with 2 super chats. Thank you, Cody. And he puts up 2 different stickers. One, keep it up, and the other one with the fist bumps. I like it. You know, I'm big into the stickers. Like them. Herman Cueva is in the house. Eddie Pachado is in the house. Antonio, Charles Reed, putting Jimmy Buckets. That's right. Let's see. DJ Gallagher, good morning, people. Thomas Martinez, Uncle Joe. Let's see. Heat 3 more games. All right. Kenneth Cleveland chiming in. First of the day. What's up, my man? Thank you, Kenneth. He says, good morning, Big O. Kenneth Cleveland is live in the Boom Boom Room, the Velvet Ropes. Guest list includes Jimmy Buckets, Tyler Hero, and Halle Berry. There you go. You can't leave Halle out. Gotta keep her.
Does Holly have a hotel room over there? I'm guessing because she's there every day.
Yeah, I know. Definitely.
I wonder if her agent's looking for her at this point.
Hey, keep her hidden, bro. Keep her hidden. It's like me wanting to be locked up in the bottle with Barbara Eden back in the day. NorCal Dolphin says, hey, Bill, last night I did my first workout of the COVID era. Felt great to sweat it out. Big O and Bill, give me 20 minutes of sweat today, then eat anything you want. Fins for life. All right, I'll do that. What I'll do is I'll just go outside for 20 minutes and sweat buckets because it's hot as hell out there.
You don't even have to do anything. Just go walk outside. You don't even have to stand in the sun. You can be in the shade, man.
Drenched. Mark McIntyre says, good rockin' Tuesday, fellas. And Manny J. Snow says, presente. That's right. Julius 305 is in. So plenty of you already in the chat room. Appreciate all of you out there. Appreciate the super chatters as always. And everybody else downloading the show and supporting us any way that you can. It's the bottom of the hour. Tomorrow we're going to be at VSS West Pines. Go see Jose and all the great people over there at 12397 Pembroke Road. We'll be out there. We'll be on around about 11:30 noon, something like that. We'll be on tomorrow. And we'll have some fun. We'll get ready also for the Inter-Miami match, which Matuidi is in town. I guess he got his visa, so now he's got to go through the COVID, and then he'll be ready to go. Visit them, by the way, at 12397 Pembroke Road. Go to VSSWestPines.com for all of your CBD needs. I've been telling you about VSS West Pines now for a while. They do great work there. Call them 954-613-3367, man. Great people. Listen, whether you're looking for pain, stress, anxiety, you want to sleep better, CBD products help you in so many different ways. It's not a drug. It's all natural, and they also have it for your pets. So if you got a dog that's a little bit too wild and you want to mellow them out a little bit, CBD will calm them down too. Again, not a drug, all natural, very healthy for you. Call them 954-613-3367. Go to the website, vsswestpines.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Jimmy, in those moments, and I know you always talk about just picking your spots and getting your teammates involved, but in those moments, what are you feeling? Because it almost seemed like the shot was going in before you even took it.
I mean, say what you will, but I told my teammates I probably wasn't going to pass the ball. I made a couple shots, and they said, you know, that's fine with me. I don't know if it'll be like that next game. I hope Tyler's the one that's in that position. He feels that the rim is just so big that he can't miss, or Gorn or Bam. I'm telling you, we got a lot of guys. We got a lot of guys, and guys are so comfortable, so confident. We're okay.
Nick Friedel.
Jimmy, to follow up on that, do you feel like you have learned to take over games late, or do you think that was always within you and has just come out now the longer you've been in the league and played at this level?
I've learned, but I've watched so many great players. And it's great to have D Wade in my corner. I'm telling you, he's always in my phone, telling me about the game, what to look for. He's been a huge help. You know, he's the first person that texts me tonight whenever I get back to the locker room. I've learning. I've been learning. I will continue to learn. I just want to win, though. I can't say it enough.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right, that's Jimmy Butler. I think it was Will Manso in the first question, and then Nick Friedel from Chicago, who covered him for a long, long time. I think he works for ESPN, if I'm correct, Nick. Does a really good job covering the NBA, and it's interesting because even Nick being in Chicago, that's still a story for them about what Jimmy Butler is doing. And so it's interesting that Nick
Wilbon loves Jimmy Butler. That's like one of his favorite
he's a
players.
Chicago guy. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, that
Big
makes
time.
That makes sense. It wasn't. I mean, people in Chicago really shouldn't dislike Jimmy Butler. He's not the problem. He left because they're a clown show, and Chicago proves to be a clown show. Minnesota fans, you could be mad at him. That you could tell that. You see how Jimmy says, "Oh, I'll go to battle with these guys anytime. I love these guys." Miami's young guys have the edge that Minnesota's young guys don't have. And while Karl Anthony Towns is a really talented player, so Barkov, okay? Super talented, can do anything anybody else can do. No dog in him. None. He lives off of his talent. But it's not like there's a driving force behind it that all of a sudden he says, I got to take over. My team needs me. And that's, you've seen it with Butler a couple times now. And last night was one of those examples. Like, he wasn't going to allow them to lose. And when he had to score, he would drive to the hoop and score. And if he had to hit a three, he hit a three. And if he had to make a steal, he would make a steal. And if he had to defend somebody, he'd defend somebody. I mean, he says it all the time. He does whatever it takes to win. And so you got to have dog in you. You know what I mean? And so Jimmy, you hear him talk about playing with these guys and how much he loves playing with these guys because Tyler's fearless. You saw him hit that three. And I know Duncan didn't have a good game, but that's not because he was afraid of the moment. Duncan is never afraid of the moment or any shot. Kendrick Nunn is fearless as hell. Now, he may not be efficient. Certainly, no, not may. He isn't efficient, but it doesn't stop him from playing well on defense, assisting, rebounding, defending. He does everything else because it doesn't get him off his game. Whereas the guys in Minnesota look soft. You know what I mean? And look at the end results year in and year out for those guys. So they can't be mad at Jimmy. And I think Jimmy has blended really well, not because the culture in Miami is tough. If you're not a tough-minded person, you will not last and you will not be comfortable in this environment. That's why Whiteside was never going to be ever anything in this environment, because he's not tough. He doesn't demand excellence from himself. He doesn't demand to be great. He's a stat hog, is what he worries about, is stats. And these guys, they're all worried about winning. They're not worried about the stats. Goran Dragic plays his ass off all the time. Bam Adebayo plays hard every single moment. Kendrick Nunn may not be an efficient player, but it's not from a lack of effort. The effort is always there. That kid's a pro's pro. He's just got to figure out how to, shoot at a better clip. But that's what these guys are. Even the kid Carlos Silva that got injured and is out, that kid has shown me he's got an edge to his ass. And that's why Jimmy Butler has responded the way he has. That's why he likes playing with these guys. That's why I think in a way when he talks about playing with these guys, it's almost like he's constantly taking a shot at the young guys he had to play with in Chicago and in Minnesota. Because obviously those are crap organizations. They don't have any culture in place, unlike Miami, that no matter what, even if you're a journeyman, they're going to make you play at your best. Even if you're a bum like Whiteside, you will play your best here. And that's why I think this whole fit has been outstanding. The other thing that I see from this whole, you just heard it from Nick Friedel, where he was asking him about, hey, have you learned to finish games? And, this is a great moment for Jimmy Butler to send an FU to people like me. Because I say he's not a superstar. I say he's an all-star. And all-stars don't necessarily take over games all the time. Superstars do. And this is his moment where if he does this several times during this series, you start to say, well, wait a minute. This guy has produced like a superstar throughout the year, not in the points and taking over games or shooting, but in the way he has led the team, the way he assists, the way he rebounds, the way he defends, the way he sells his body out and goes to the line all the time. He's done all the other things that it takes to be a great, great leader and set an amazing example for everybody else. And now we're watching some moments where he actually takes over, and he did a little bit of it in the Indiana series. And now he did it in game one in a major fashion. 40 points is major. 2 of 2 from three-point range, major. Defense, major. I mean, this guy is playing at an elite level, right? And this is his way of also saying, F-U-O, F-U Sixers. You guys shouldn't have let me go. I was the heart and soul of that team. Your young guys may be the more talented ones, but they needed me to bring that balance to them, bring that toughness, that edge. And our young guys are getting that toughness, that edge from Jimmy. It's funny because I'm in the middle of watching the Cobra Kai series on Netflix. And, I heard about it. Never really got to see the first 2 seasons, and now they've added the 3rd season because Netflix picked it up. So I am now binge watching it. I'm late into the 2nd season. And I'm not going to, just in case you haven't seen it or anything like that, but that whole Cobra Kai mentality, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, all that stuff, to me, that's kind of Jimmy's mentality. That Cobra Kai type of attitude. And he's giving it to the rest of that team because the Heat organization has always been kind of that Cobra Kai tough mentality, right? We'll knock you down. We're not going to give you a hand and pick you up. We'll pick up our own guys. We're not picking you up. All those kind of things that come with a Riley-type team, conditioning, defense. You open up training camp, you don't even touch the basketball the first week or two. It's all defensive drills for a week or two at first. All those kind of things that they embed in you. And we're kind of seeing all of that. And that's why this marriage has gone so well with Jimmy. And I've been of the ilk that you need to go get yourself somebody even better than Jimmy. This is Jimmy's opportunity to say, I'm a superstar, and I just need somebody equal next to me, along with our young guys, and we are off and running. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. Although this is such a screwy season that if you beat Milwaukee, then Miami has a shot to get to the finals after that. And the rest, you never know what's going to happen in a bubble-like situation like this. It's crazy, man. But I love what I'm seeing from Jimmy and the attitude and the production and the clutch and the edge and everything, the way it's coming together. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool, man.
So your suggestion is for the guys from Sunrise to go down to Biscayne Boulevard and get some dog?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Start hanging out with Heat guys, Panthers.
Yes. No. I think the Panther organization needs to, the entire organization needs to go down and hang out.
And camp out.
And hang out with Riley.
Just be in somebody's back pocket.
Yeah,
and
find out what culture is all about.
Be a shadow.
Find out about what, toughness is. Because I told you this before. I forgot who wrote it. One of the hockey guys wrote, hey, the next GM, the cupboard's not empty. I disagree. What does talent give you if you have no balls? Please tell me. Because Minnesota's got a couple really talented players, and they do nothing with them. You know what I mean? So it's not just about talent. There's got to be structure. There's got to be a culture, a character in place. And even the Panthers in the mid-'90s, under Torrey and all those guys, they actually had an edge to them. Skrudlin, all those guys, they brought toughness. Jovanowski, all of that, it was toughness that they brought. Paul Laws, everything. They brought toughness. They brought an edge. So the few young guys you had in that group had to learn to be tough and have an edge. Panthers have no edge. Panthers are pussycats. So they've got to learn to not be pussycats. In other words, Barkov has more talent than Butler does in his respective sport. Barkov is a more talented player and should be a better player in his league than Butler is in his league. The difference and where the scales are out of balance is in los cojones. All right? The Panther organization has no cojones. That's why they breed soft players. That's why they fold every time they're in a big moment. That's why they choke. Okay? Because Dale Talon created a soft organization. So when you get somebody there, you're going to need somebody that changes the actual culture. They need to find their Pat Riley. Okay? And I love Q, the coach, but he's up there in years. He's not going to be here forever. You know what I mean? We got Riley 25 years ago. So we got him young enough that he was able to establish the culture. I don't know what happens the day Riley steps down. And, I don't look forward to that. And I think he's so focused on getting one more title before he walks out of here and takes off to, California and hangs out in his beach house, forever. And God bless him. He deserves to leave already if he feels like it. But he's such a badass that he wants to give us one more title. So that's what the Panthers need to do. And then maybe, just maybe, they can actually get to the point that they can be like the Miami Heat. But, man, if you don't bring any toughness to the door, to the table, you're done. You're history. And that's been the Panthers' biggest problem. It's not that they lack – I agree there's talent. I just agree that there's no cojones whatsoever in that organization at all. Players are soft. And I'm glad to see that the Heat players aren't soft. Troy Ortiz says, would you bring any of these soft Panther players back or would you clean house? Well, Troy, you have to bring them back. They're all under contract, my brother. It's not that easy to get rid of them. I think you have to now bring a GM in who then oversees everything and does a flow and does what Chris Creer and Flo did, that they kind of assess what they need and get rid of what they don't and then start to rebuild again. Because it's a rebuild for the Panthers. They don't have the right people in that organization. They got the right owners. The owners can get it done, but now it's up to the owners to find and make their mark. They inherited this guy. That's all. It's like Stephen Ross. He inherited Bill Parcells, a legend, and he gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then he found out and figured out after a couple of years that, Parcells was not the guy, and then he finally moved on and made some mistakes along the way, and finally, I think, got it right. Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu now have to go out and get it right now. They have to go get a GM that is not a GM just for Quenneville. Don't get an old GM that, has a couple years left and you're trying to just team him up with the old coach and get it done and just get over the top. And no. Get a young guy that understands what direction that sport is going in and the players that they need, the attitude that they need. And then they can move on. Herman says if Pat Riley retires, Eric Spoelstra will take his spot. Yes, he will. But again, it's still not Pat Riley. So everybody will have to prove themselves that they can run an organization top to bottom like Riley. It's not that easy.
Just have
to. Thank you, Matthew.
Paris is off. Turn on France.
Yes.
Was going to say, just kind of half-heartedly watching the NHL, keeping an eye.
Yes.
Have you paid attention to any of the Avalanche, North Star? Yeah. Man, tell me those two teams don't have heart and don't go at each other, man.
It's NHL playoffs.
Yeah.
It's the greatest playoffs in sports.
Man, the other one goes up by 3 goals. The other one comes back with 3 goals in 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
They have heart.
Yeah.
No, I hope the Panthers are watching them.
They're not even close. Panthers aren't even close to those people. Talon signed Bob, or was it really the owner? I don't know. Well, they fired Talon, bro. You know what I mean? So maybe the owner's just, Talon's the one that signed Barkov and Huberdeau, and Talon's the one that traded Trocheck, the guy that had more balls than Barkov and Huberdeau combined. Vinny Trocheck has more fire and plays with more heart than those two guys. Right? Riley Smith, all these other trades that he made, he got rid of guys left and right. I don't know, man. I'm going to blame everything on Talon right now. The owners are now, now the owners finally get to make their mark. They've made their mark as spenders. Okay? Viola and Sifu have already proven that they can spend money and they will build the team however they, whatever you need. What they have to now make their mark is that they can go find the right executive to really put this franchise over the top. That's their next move. Because, it must be a pisser for the owners to keep spending money and not getting any results. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. You know what I mean?
It's safe to say that the ownership will go get the best guy. Money's no object. These people want to win, and they have no problem opening up the pockets. Yes. They've done everything that they could. They could.
Yeah, I see. That's why I'm a Stephen Ross fan, and he screwed up a whole bunch of times. But dude, his heart is in the right place. I've already seen the Billy Cunninghams and the Louis Chaffels. I've seen the Jeffrey Lorias of the world. I've seen the Ken Horowitz of the world, and he's the one that owned the Fusion and was a disaster and didn't, it's cheap. And so I know what bad ownership is like, dude. I've experienced it everywhere. I've seen it with different sports in this town. We have great ownership with Viola and Sifu. We have great ownership with Stephen Ross. It's just a matter of figuring out the right people to run the organization. Stephen Ross has finally figured it out. I don't want Stephen Ross to go anywhere. I hope he lives another 100 years, actually. Look at that stadium, bro. Look at everything he's done. You know what I mean? Huizenga was a great owner. He won the World Series, set up for the next World Series with his GM. His hockey team went to the Stanley Cup. He couldn't get it right in football, but it's not his fault. We all thought Jimmy was the right pick. We all thought Saban was the right pick. We all thought Parcells was the right pick. What do you want the owner to do? If the big name doesn't work out, you can't do anything about it. And I can't blame Sifu and I can't blame Viola that they stuck with Talon, who did a great job in Chicago, but was crap here for 10 years. Can't blame him. Can't blame him. But I want them here. I want Viola and Sifu here forever. I want Stephen Ross here forever. I just want them to get the right people to run their respective teams. Mickey Harrison's a badass. He nailed it on his first try. He bought the team and then traded for Riley, I think today. I think today was the day he traded for Riley. I think today's the anniversary.
September 1st is the...
I think so. Look it up. Look it up. When did Miami trade for Riley? What day did Miami trade for Riley? Brandon Flood says, love Cobra Kai, right? It's pretty good, huh? I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying Cobra Kai. I'm like in the 9th episode, I think, in season 2. So yeah, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's actually pretty good. Herman says, I watched Cobra Kai, great series, but I think they only have 2 seasons. Didn't they add a 3rd? That's why Netflix got it? Let me see. I thought they added a 3rd. They only have 2? I thought Netflix picked it up, or I thought they were filming and they were going to add a 3rd, or they added the 3rd already, or whatever like that. Didn't I? I thought I read something like that about Cobra Kai. I got to look it up. Maybe I was wrong. Well, then again, I don't know the ending. Maybe I'm wrong myself here. Let's see. I'll tell you right now because I'll look it up. Let's see. Moves to Netflix, season 3. Yeah, here it is. Cobra Kai getting a platform upgrade from YouTube Premium to Netflix. The first 2 seasons of the series spin-off film franchise will be available later this year. Streaming services with already filmed season 3 to follow, Netflix announced Monday. So yeah, I knew I read somewhere where season 3 is either there or coming or whatever. I haven't even paid attention if season 3 is there. I'm just on season 2 at the moment, so I'm not even thinking of season 3 yet. I just want to finish season 2, and then I'll look. But I don't even know if it's up or not, actually, to be honest with you. But I know that they were working on season 3. And it's good. I'm actually enjoying it. Let's see. What else do we have here on the text line? Hialeah Bread says, what's up, Big O? Thank you, sir, for tuning in. As always, Antonio's asking me what time will I be at Hialeah Park. Okay, we're not going to be at Hialeah Park on Friday now. They want us this week to go on Thursday. So we're going to go Thursday, and we're going to be there 2 to 5. Okay? So it'll be 2 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. Okay? All right? So if you are going to visit us, come on down on Thursday, 2 to 5 p.m. looks like what we're going to do on at Hialeah Park. Okay, so Friday we won't double dip. We'll double dip on Thursday. We'll probably do 10 to 12 over at Toyota of Hollywood, and then we'll do 2 to 5 over at Hialeah Park. So that'll be the adjustment. That's how we're going to do it. All right, so if you want to check us out, please do. Come on out to Hialeah Park Thursday this week at least, 2 to 5. Okay? Alexa V says, how are you guys? We are great, Presidente. Thank you for joining us. She says, in a break from online class, stopping by to say hi. Oh, I see. Okay. Now, are you teaching those online classes or are you taking an online class? Which one is it, Alexa? Julius305 says, watch Myron show up to Hialeah on Friday. That would be funny. I mean, well, he tunes in. I would hope he keeps up with it. He sees it on social media, so we'll post it on social media. NorCal says, double dipping Thursday. Puff, puff, don't give. Puff, puff, won't give. Ha-ha. Alexa says, taking them. Aha. What are you studying online there, Alexa? What's the president studying online? Love it. There you go. All right. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. And I've also realized that the text line is kind of it has like a chat board. And so now I actually have it up where the chat is up. So if you reach out on the text line 786-322-1105, it'll be a little easier for me to actually send messages now on the text line. So another way to reach out to all of you out there And one guy says, Jimmy B wanted to join the Heat, be the closer with the game on the line. And that's exactly what he is right now. He's getting it done, man. He is definitely getting it done. It's been impressive, I got to say. All right, if you want to get in, you can reach in over at the text line 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Criminal justice classes and nutrition. Nice. Okay. Good job graduating next year, y'all. All right, so y'all know. So if you get in trouble, you call Alexa V. She's taking criminal justice classes. She can bail us all out. She can help us, which Lord knows we all need help. Hey, Jordan McPherson from the Miami Herald is going to join us at 1:15. We're going to talk Marlins with him. As you all know, the Marlins made all kinds of moves. We got to talk about that. And at 1:40, Neil Stratton is going to join us from Inside the League. He's got a new book out. He talks to a lot of NFL scouts, and they've got a lot of war stories on being NFL scouts. So we're going to talk to Neil about that. I think it's going to be an interesting book to talk about and hear about inside stories about the NFL. And you definitely want to hear that interview because Neil's a really good dude, and he's always got some good insight on the league because he knows pretty much all the agents and most of all the personnel people in this business. He is right up there, man. I'm telling you. Cookie Vice chiming in with a little super chat. He says, never doubt the GOAT, Riley. Amen to that, brother. Never doubt the GOAT. All right, let's take a break. Hour number 2 is next. We do want to tell you about Murias Dental. Folks, whether it's cavities, you need fillings, you need a crown, implants, Invisaligns. They are the experts when it comes to implants and Invisaligns. The Murias family does an exceptional job. In fact, Father Murias has even invented a tool that other dentists use all across the country, okay? So we're talking about a dental office that is state-of-the-art, family-owned, super, super clean. Trust me, because I go there, and some of our listeners are now going there because you are calling and setting it up. Call them, 305-821-0231. I keep telling you, it's convenient. They're not going to make you come back for a second visit if you need a crown because they make it right there. If you need an implant, you won't come back for a second visit with a temporary because they're going to make it right there, and then within minutes, they will make that tooth. That's how state-of-the-art they are, and that's how convenient it is for you. There's a couple nights a week where they open till 8 o'clock at night because some people work till 5, and they can't take a day off to go to the dentist. Murias Dental understands. They're your kind of dentist. They're your kind of family, all right? So call them. Trust me. Tell them Big O sent you. 305-821-0231. Call Eric and tell him Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to the website, muriasdental.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
All right, we back. We take you till, I don't know, about 2 o'clock, something like that.
Time. I love that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know when it ends. We never know when it ends. We never know when it begins. Kind of. Who knows? Thursday, 10 to 12 will be at Toyota of Hollywood, and then 2 to 5 will be at Hialeah Park. Okay? So Thursday will be at Hialeah this week. It'll be normally Fridays, but you know what? I should ask. If we're
What, they want to do a switcheroo on us?
Yeah.
COVID causes a total switcheroo of the schedule.
Yeah. It's good to know.
You think?
I mean, if that's the way they want to do it, hey, customer is always right, man. That's how it goes. I mean, if that's the way they want to do it, that's the way we do it.
We pride ourselves on being on the fly. We could do it. We could do it from a hotel room. We've done that.
Yeah.
You could do it from the car.
Yep. Done that too?
Yeah.
Done that too? Alrighty. In the first year. Dennis Akers, thank you, sir. That's right, folks. Come on, hit that button. I see there's a bunch of people on the chat board. Please hit the like button. Share the link also with friends. Send it to somebody on a text. Post it on Twitter, on Facebook, Reddit, wherever you can. Tell folks about the show. We need to grow the audience as much as possible. Have them subscribe, please, to the show. Many different ways to participate. Let's see, what else do we have? I'm the biggest Dolph fan ever, and that's why it's depressing to hear these excuses. I'm so sick of excuses. Greer should go. Oh, whatever. Okay. Anyway, so we are good. I guess, what do we have here? Somebody was asking me.
A majorly misinformed person there.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's all. Alexis says, hey, did you see Armando's column the other day about the Dolphins' recent years draft failures? I know you like Greer, but what do you think about the misses he has had? He's been fine for me, bro. He's only been in charge for a year. Okay? So this is his second draft. This is how I'm measuring him now. This whole thing with Raekwon McMillan or Kalen Ballage or anything like that, these are all guys that were before Flores. McMillan doesn't fit. It's an article to fill time. It's an article that at this point I couldn't agree with at all. Pretty much, it's kind of an article where you're just reaching to try to create negative stuff out of it. I see in a year and 2 drafts a guy that's gotten 2 quarterbacks, loaded up the lines, found a head coach, added some great personnel people. I like where Miami's headed, so I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So I am not going to be in all of this, and life's a gamble, my brother. If you're going to be a troll, you will not last long here. That's your last warning. It's the only one you get. I don't really say it twice. So if your whole thing is just one agenda all the time, you will not last here. Just last time. You got the one warning. It's over. So if I'm you, tread lightly. Okay? Do things the right way here. We're not into trolls. You got your point. You don't like Greer, that's fine. If that's all you're going to do all day long, trust me, dude, you're done. Okay? All right? What do you say? And I'm not saying McMillan is a Pro Bowler, but he's better than the backups we have. You do know that he can't cover, right? Here we go. All right. There we go. I just don't have time for this, bro. If you don't know football, why am I going to even bother? He'd rather keep McMillan, and he doesn't fit what they need, but he wants to keep him because he thinks he's better than the backups. Wow. Okay. Now, when somebody has an agenda, you're not going to change it. And then then they start to create their own narratives. You know what I mean? And then that's your narrative there. Oh, don't trade this linebacker. He's better than our backups. Do you understand he can cover? So then they can only use him on first and second down. They can't use him on third downs.
This is like leaving Kiko Alonso on the tight end in the Raiders game and watching the guy catch every pass.
That's it. Same thing. This is the team that said, yeah, this is the front office guy that said, no, Kiko doesn't fit us. Their linebacker fits us. Unfortunately, the kid got injured this year, and we lost Beagle. But if you watch Beagle over Kiko, big difference, right? Because Beagle fit what they do. Kiko did not. But again, when you have an agenda, like life's a gamble, and you're just going to be hammering every day because he was doing it all day, yesterday too. And it's like, come on, bro. Enough. And if you're just going to be doing that every minute and you're just texting just to be obnoxious and then you come up with stupid points like that, I don't have time for that, bro. I don't have time for that. And I don't want that to then pollute the rest of the chat board. So like we had that other idiot that came in spewing all kinds of political crap the other day, and I just got rid of him right away.
Excommunicado.
That's it. Cody Douglas gives us a third super chat of the day. New York City Kane says, oh, it's a will to win no matter what it was Jimmy showed yesterday. You're right. You're 1,000% right. That was a driven mofo yesterday. Okay? He was driven. I'm with you. Herman says, for me, Chris Greer is doing great just by getting Coach Flores is awesome. And Tua? If Tua works out? What if Rosen comes through? What if the line is what if they fix the offensive line? I mean, there's
going 5-4 to finish the season last year with nothing.
Development of Devontae Parker and then a cheap extension.
Yeah.
Gesicki
getting going.
And that's his draft pick.
Preston Williams, undrafted.
Finding Preston Williams. Nick Needham. I mean, it's whatever, bro. Listen, you can create whatever narrative you want in this world. If you want, you can do it. You know what I mean? But if you don't see in the last, whatever it's been, 18 months now that guy took over, if you don't see the difference in the Dolphins in 18 months compared to the last 20 years, I can't help you, bro. I can't. I heard yesterday that they reduced the press access to practice to 20 minutes a day until the season starts. They're going to have some filler stories. No, radically, they're back to that's how it is the entire season, my man. Training camp and the preseason, the first two games of the preseason, you're watching all of practice. Third preseason game, they close out the practice, and all you do radically is you get 20 minutes so you can see who's in practice and who's out. You get to take roll, you see them stretch. And then they go to like individual drills, and you'll see a little bit of individual drills, and then they rush you out. I know because I've done it. And so that's how it is. The thing is that this year there was a very short training camp, only a couple of weeks, and then the regular season starts. So we didn't have the 2 weeks of training camp, 2 more weeks of preseason, so a whole month that they get to watch the guys, plus all the three mini camps that they have, I think, in the offseason, that they get to watch all of that too. This year, they didn't get to watch all of that. They got to watch 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks are shut down. That's just the way it is. That's nothing to do with filler stories and all. Nothing's changed. The regular season started already. That's what it is. The regular season has started already. So they can't allow people to watch practice because they're actually game planning. They're actually now practicing how they're going to face the Patriots. Okay? And that's interesting because they've got to guess what the Patriots are doing with Cam. Run a lot.
you do know that some of our peoples are very disappointed in the way you did not rip that guy a new one.
Oh, no.
Because they live for that, you know?
I know.
Yeah, just realize.
No, but there's no reason. There's no
I know.
reason to rip the guy.
You we're in a different mood.
No, and he wasn't really. It was just a silly agenda that he just wants to keep pushing, and it gets old. I get it, dude. Check back in. You don't like Greer, okay? So a year or two from now, you'll
when we get a real feeling of what's falling,
and you'll know that, and then people either have to agree with you or disagree with you. But right now, 18 months later, he's done a phenomenal job.
There's still, as of right now, yes, but there's a lot of variables still.
Right. So let's wait till it actually develops. But if you're gonna sit here all day and just hammer away every day at the same thing, get the hell out of here.
Just, hey, you guys, let O know. They love when you rip people, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of negative surrounding Mondo these days. Oh, Armando had those comments that, he was out of place. They are moving forward with the players that fit their system. Exactly, Cody, but you understand football. The other guy didn't. Big O, what are your thoughts on Fournette? Is that someone you would be interested in bringing in for the Fins? Alexis, check the podcast yesterday. You'll get that answer. It's all there. Man of 1,005 holds. Cody Douglas wants to break Kenneth's record. Yeah, he's got 3 already. Yeah. He's working his way there. Omar said in an interview that Austin Jackson is getting smoked by Shaq Lawson every day in practice. Should we start worrying? Nope. I would hope that Shaq Lawson is beating the rookie. If the rookie was handling Shaq Lawson, I'd be more concerned. I'd be going, what did we sign Shaq Lawson for? So, yeah, I'm good. Okay? All right? So, there you go. Anyway, Call of Duty, I guess people are unaware of the 5-year plan. Well, I don't know about 5 years. I don't think you have 5 years. Okay? You know what I mean?
But if it's a 5-year plan, we have 2 general managers and 2 coaches in that period, right?
Yeah. I think you need to know by 3 what if you're headed in the right direction. You should know after this season, if there's a whole season, then you'll get better, So, it is. Let's see, what else do we have here? All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the text line. That's 786-322-1105. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Plenty to talk about. NBA games tonight. We got 2, 5:30. We got Celtics and Raptors. And we've got the Jazz and the Nuggets, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Here are the lines. Yesterday, we went 1-1. We won the Heat game, getting the 5.5. Clearly, they won, so we didn't even need the damn points. And then we lost because I thought the Rockets would put them away, and they did not. And to OKC's credit, CP3 played, you want cojones? The dude dropped the cojones yesterday in a big-time way. And so I ended up losing that one, so we went 1-1. So we're now 16-13 against the number. We are going to go 5:30. Raptors are favored by 1.5. I'm riding the Celtics in this one. I think the Celtics are the better team. They're playing the better basketball right now. The Raptors... the Raptors have to kind of shed that label of what they had before Kawhi. And Kyle Lowry, he's a good player. I like him. He's an all-star. But I know that he's not a superstar, and I know he can't carry your team. So I already know what I'm going to get with Kyle Lowry in the playoffs. Same thing I'm going to get with DeMar DeRozan. Okay? When you count on them, they're not going to get it done. So it's up to Siakam or maybe even OG, and they have not taken that next step yet. And if Siakam doesn't take that next step, then Toronto's going to go back to being what they were pre-Kawhi. The team that does really well in the regular season, wins their share of games, and then when they get to the playoffs, they fold the tent. And so I just think the Celtics are better. I'm going to take the 1.5. I'm going to go Celtics, and I'm going to go over 217.5. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. So those are my two bets on that one. Jamal Murray is on freaking fire right now. Donovan Mitchell is also playing his game too. The Jazz and the Nuggets are favored by a point. The over and under is 218.5. This game, I'm going to ride the red hot Murray, and I'm going to give the point, and I'm going to pick the Nuggets to advance, even though I think the Jazz might be the better team because I think defensively they're fundamentally more sound than the Nuggets. But right now, the way Jamal is playing, I'm going to go with the hot hand. I'm going to ride the Nuggets -1 in this game. I'm also going to go with the over on 218.5. I'm also expecting a lot of points in this one because you got a couple guys that are really hot, and you know Donovan Mitchell is going to bring his A game tonight. So it's going to be a lot of fun watching both games tonight.
The way that's gone, would you be surprised to see them guys both put up 50 and it go into overtime?
Yeah.
That's been a great series.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Romeo Garcia's in the house, says, morning, Big O and Bill. What else do we have there? Marta says, let's see. Truth is, if he keeps it up, Bo's going to blow a fuse. I don't know. What are we talking about? Who's doing something? Ronald says, Big O, you may need a new category of fan to go with a blind-ass fan. It's called a dumbass fan alert. Yeah, no, you're right. But we already, I think we already eliminated him, unless he wants to open another account again, and then we'll, whatever.
He'll surface to and we'll know who you are.
Yeah, basically, for sure. Pat in Nashville says, I missed the first ever Bat Ghost. Damn it, fill me in. James Roman has reported to the show. I like it. All right. So plenty of people to talk to, plenty of things to talk about on the program, and, of course, many ways to reach out to us. Let's see, a little music notes. Let me give you a couple of music notes. Yeah, we got some music notes for you. Usually, I know what you're saying, Bill. I usually wait a little longer, a little later into the show.
You're way up in the schedule.
Yes, I am. But I did that. I'm doing it on purpose, obviously, to get some of these. What's it called?
These are very important things.
Nuggets in there.
Yeah, you got to. But I see we got some interviews on the back end, so yeah, we got to move everything up a bit.
Yeah, I'm moving up some stuff, and so first of all, let's go with a little music history. In 1979, on this date, U2 released their very first record with an EP called U2 3. It had an initial run of 1,000 individually numbered copies that were only available in Ireland. In 1983, The Clash's Joe Strummer and Paul Simonon fired Mick Jones. They said he was drifting apart from the original concept of the band. In 1981, Hall & Oates on this date released their 10th album, Private Eyes, which featured the hits I Can't Go For That and Private Eyes. And in 2011, this is kind of funny, Green Day singer Billy Joe Armstrong was forced off a Southwest flight for giving lip to a flight attendant who asked him to pull up his sagging pants. He tweeted about the incident, and Southwest apologized. It's kind of funny that would actually even happen. In music history, or birthdays, that is, 1948, Barry Gibb was born. 46. 1946, Barry Gibb, singer, songwriter, producer for the Bee Gees, was born on this date. In 1957, Gloria Estefan, Miami's own, was born on this date back in 1957.
She is the epitome of Miami, man.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. A couple of other things that happened on this date, or a couple of other things that happened. Blondie, in 1977, the Playboy bunny Deborah Harry signed her first major record contract with Chrysalis Records or Chrysalis Records. I don't know how it's pronounced. I think it's Chrysalis. I'm going to go with Chrysalis. So 1977, Blondie signs her contract, and in 1984 on this date, after a 25-year career, Tina Turner had her first solo #1 single with What's Love Got to Do with It. The song was originally written for Cliff Richard. However, the song was rejected. It was then offered to Donna Summer, who stated she sat with it for a couple of years but never recorded it. Interesting. I mean, they're all three Hall of Famers. They're all three, like, ginormous legends, okay? If you don't know who Cliff Richard is, I can't help you. He's like Elvis Presley to England, you know what I'm saying? And he's had a slew of hits in this country. But Donna Summer, Cliff Richard, and then Tina Turner, dude, those are three, like, amazing artists to be like, I don't know, should I do this song or not? And think about it. You're Donna Summers. You can actually sit on that song for years. That's how good you are, okay? And then you think about it. How would that song be with Cliff Richard? How would that song be with Donna Summers? And then you know it is perfect with Tina Turner because that's the way it originated. So it's kind of interesting. Couple of other news and notes in music. Angus Young was asked on why AC/DC has longevity. And the lead guitarist says the secret to the Legendary's band's longevity is they always stay true to their rock roots and they don't try to chase current trends. Angus was asked to explain the band's longevity during an interview with Guitar World, and he responded, "People have said we hung around long enough, but some bands fade while they try to adapt with what's current. We play rock music. It's a little bit late for us to do a ballad. Rock is what we do best. Sometimes I'm asked if I want to play music other than AC/DC. Sure. At home, I play a little blues, but after 5 minutes, I'm like, F this. I'm playing hard rock again." He continues, "It's a challenge to keep coming up with songs of the caliber of Let There Be Rock, Highway to Hell, and Back in Black. Every song we write has got to stand up. Most of our stuff is just about sex, and it's most rock music. It's pretty hard to write a song about your dog, but I've never really found a sexual thing in music. I've never found anything sexy that wasn't meant to be sexy. Now, that's a good Freudian thing, but if you look back to the blues, that's the standard tempo in most of the strip joints, and that's why we rely on it too. It has to be earthy." Okay? When he was asked about keeping up with modern music, he says, "Nah, when I get in the car, the first thing that goes in is a Muddy Waters tape. Even though I've played it 400 times, I love that." And Chuck Berry, "Nowadays, everything sounds so nice, buzz-free, hiss-free. I like that hiss. I like to hear the valves on the amplifier warming up. It's pure energy. I still spend hours sitting and listening to the sound Chuck Berry's guitar makes. There's not a day that goes by when I don't pick up a guitar and I'm getting there. I've got 2 fingers going now." You got to love it. So there's Angus Young on talking about his band and why they've lasted so damn long. 31 years ago today, Bill, something really cool happened.
That's super vague. Really,
What?
something really cool happened 30
That's right.
I mean,
That's right. I don't want to give any more.
any hints?
No, 5 albums into their career, Motley Crue were unapologetic, obsessed with crafting their kind of sticky, sleazy hard rock that defined MTV hair metal and hooked the masses like streaming bowls of salty buttered popcorn. Dr. Feelgood came out September 1st of 1989. That's right. Crue's take on Aerosmith-style stadium rock. The album was performed with energy and brimmed with over-the-giant size hooks, even featured Aerosmith vocalist Steven Tyler in Sticky Sweet, And in the intro of Slice of Your Pie, Nikki and Tommy and I hung out a lot. Tyler told Rolling Stone, of course, we're all akin by the old drinking and drugging days. And you think about it, right? Dr. Feelgood was one of those albums that the sound or the production of that sound was just amazing. You had Dr. Feelgood. You had Kickstart My Heart. Without You, Same Old Situation, Don't Go Away Mad. I mean, that album is just absolutely phenomenal. Rattlesnake Shake is also in that one. I mean, there's a lot of good songs in that album. So for those of you that, might be reminiscing a little bit, there you go. 31 years ago today, Motley Crue and Dr. Feelgood came out. One more thing. While I make you feel good, I might make you feel a little bad now. Okay? Approximately 64% of professional musicians are thinking of quitting music as a result of the coronavirus, according to a new survey. The investigation carried out by the British booking organization's Encore Musicians concluded that artists had lost an average of $15,000 in income in each and had an average of 5 concerts scheduled for the rest of 2020. The results show that due to the widespread event cancellations, musicians have lost an average of 87% of their live bookings, and with them as the main source of income, the report noted that the survey crossed all genres of music and that more than 4/5 of respondents could be considered professional musicians who make a living from their art. 4 in 10 had no bookings at all for the rest of the year, which that's not surprising. A similar number had received no financial support from the British government. A slightly greater number had been helped by non-government bodies. As a result of these challenges, 4 in 10 musicians have applied for a non-music job since lockdown measures began in March. The results were said to point towards a significant contraction of the UK music industry, which contributes $5.2 billion annually to the UK economy and employs nearly 200,000 people. We're acutely aware of the damage the pandemic has done to our musicians' livelihoods, but I'm still shocked to see just how few bookings most musicians have left in their diary for 2020. This problem is being felt across the industry, from signed veterans to young musicians at the beginning of their careers. The government must act now to make sure our musicians aren't left behind. Only problem is, what about all the other people that are out of work? What about the architect that's out of work? He or she can't design any buildings because nobody's constructing anything. What about the construction guy or woman that can't work at a site because nobody's building anything? I mean, people are losing jobs all over the place. People are losing careers all over the place. But I don't know. I don't understand the part about quitting. I don't know how you quit. If you're really a musician, okay, maybe you can't live off of it at the moment, but you don't stop. When I started in radio, I worked at Sound Advice. Okay? I worked at the Southeast Towers as a security guard. I had a couple of different side jobs because I was making like $5.25 an hour early on in radio 30 years ago. So I could not make my money in radio, but in order to keep my dream alive of saying, okay, I want to be in radio permanently, I had to have another job. You know? Delivering piss and blood. You know, things like that you would get the samples from the lockbox and then drop it off at the hospital. I mean, I had all kinds of side jobs the first couple of years that I was in radio because radio could not sustain my living. So I had to have a second job. So if you're a musician and you're giving up, I got to say that's kind of weak. I think that's soft. You know what I mean? I get if you can't make a living, But how many of you out there right now can't make a living what you normally do and you're doing something else? Right? Isn't that what COVID's made us do? A lot of people out there are maybe lost their jobs, and they're really good at it, but obviously it's just setbacks, and now they're working somewhere else. How many of you are like that? A bunch. But I find that kind of weird that you would give up your dream, because as a guy that chased his dream and achieved it, I can't comprehend with that, because I did whatever I had to do to stay in radio.
Would you say this is kind of like a knee-jerk reaction to what and how long it's been, and the fact that nobody, there's nothing out there, for this?
And you know what doesn't help is that the record industry screws you, because you don't make money from selling records anymore. So that's you don't own your rights and stuff like that at times.
Streaming music, albums not selling, royalty checks. It's gotten worse,
right,
and harder, for them to make a living. I can understand where you would be discouraged, and especially with there being absolutely no work, no jobs, no nothing.
Discourage is one thing. Quitting, I'm just not that guy, bro. I'm sorry, I'm not that guy.
Can I take you once upon a time just for funny ha-ha-ness right now?
Yeah.
I remember one of the stories you telling me, Sound Advice. Mm-hmm. I think it was the Tanya Harding video.
Oh, yeah.
And there was
wedding
video.
The wedding video.
Production morning,
Oh, no, yeah. In Sound Advice, we had, they would have the sales meetings, right? And there was this one sales guy that had the VHS, okay, because it's 30 years ago, had the VHS of the night of Tanya Harding's wedding. She filmed it. She filmed her banging Jeff Gillooly, her husband then. And so it got out. It got leaked. I think Gillooly's the one that leaked it or whatever, because she was in her heyday at that moment or whatever. And so he would bring that VHS in and play it in the surround sound room. Okay, and so, a couple guys would go over to the room. That went on for a week or two, because not everybody saw it, and like, hey, bring the Tanya Harding video. I didn't see it, because, there's several salespeople. Not everybody's there every day, and so he brought it in several times. Yeah, I remember that. For anybody that saw I
remember you telling me that
the Tanya Harding video. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Things you could not do nowadays.
Oh wow, that's all HR right there. But we didn't have any women in Sound Advice at that moment. So actually, no, that's not true. We had one female salesperson, but she was the kind of person that would never call HR. I'm just going to phrase it that way. Okay.
She had a bigger set than some of the guys.
She was just one of the guys.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. She would never, ever call
like
HR.
Some of the girls in the movie Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. She partied harder than most everybody in that building. So there's no way. I don't remember her in the room watching the video at all. I don't think she was. No, I think she was like an afternoon, evening person. I don't think she was in the morning, because that's the only time he would take it out is in the morning. So, yeah. So, I don't know if any of you saw that, but there you go. Motley Crue's album will always be my favorite. Motley Crue. Oh, you're talking about Too Fast for Love, the first one. Yes, I'm with you. I remember waiting outside of Specs at International Mall waiting for them to sell Dr. Feelgood. Nice. I remember being at Peaches with this idiot to go meet Motley Crue in Fort Lauderdale. The Peaches right on Sunrise.
But my first job that I had to use my Social Security number, official, blah, blah, Winn-Dixie, and on my register.
Yep.
And you guys are all knocking on the glass. Hey!
There you go.
The girl, I was the head cashier, Liza. Don't remember her last name, but hey, come over here. Take over my register. I got to go. Where are you going? Here's my name tag. I'll pick up my check Friday. Got to go meet Motley Crue. Bye-bye.
See ya. Leo says, late, but we'll listen to the whole show, Big O. Thank you, Leo. Appreciate you, my man. James Roman says, Smashing Pumpkins' new song is like dance music. What the F? I haven't heard it. I got to check it out. Alexis says, AC/DC is awesome. Saw them at MetLife Stadium, and the walls were vibrating. Yeah, they're fun. They're a fun band, man. Let's see. Radically says, oh, no, yeah, I read that one. There you go. King Short says, Too Fast for Love. Raging Dolphin Maniac says, I don't really like Crew that much, but Dr. Feelgood is an excellent record. Definitely. How do you not like Shout at the Devil, bro? And the Too Fast for Love is just amazing. Vince Neil is a fat toad who runs out of breath singing nowadays. That's what James Roman says. Although, James, he lost weight apparently. Apparently he got in shape for this tour that was going to happen. Now, he may have gained weight again, but he was working out actually for this tour. Okay? And yes, Mick Mars is still alive. Be nice. He's got a serious condition, dude. Okay? The fact that he is playing still is, pretty amazing, man. He's a tough dude. I mean, it's like he says in the video, it's like concrete is, taking over my bones and
his joints. He has no movement.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Brittle and yeah,
man. You gotta, take it easy on that one, James. That guy's going through some serious stuff. Let's see what else. Eddie Trunk was talking about Vince Neil a couple of weeks ago, and Vince has lost a lot. Oh, see, yeah, you saw it too. There you go. Good for him. He was a hamburger away from a coronary. Yeah, no. He apparently supposedly he lost a lot of weight. That's what's actually was going to motivate me to go to the concert. Because I want to see Def Leppard anyways, and Poison and Joan Jett will be fine, although Jones lost a little bit of her fastball. But Vince, really can't sing. But they'll put on a show, so what the hell?
Have they adjusted their ticket prices? Because I remember when we saw the prices, it was like, what? You guys aren't...
After a pandemic, they're not, and they're not going to, and
right.
It's 4 bands, dude. So Def Leppard needs their money too. So you're going to pay a pretty price for that ticket. Brandon Flood says the Struts' new song is out, new album soon. Oh, I got to check that out. Love the Struts. King Shore says cheap burger, Pepsi, cheap, no Coke. There you go. I like it. Little Saturday Night Live, little Dan Aykroyd. Cheap burger. That's it. I like it. All right. 786-322-1105. I've been going for 46 minutes straight, right? Is that the deal here?
Actually, on the little recorder, I got 39 minutes, sir.
All right, perfect. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. Do want to tell you about Toyota of Hollywood. Please tell them that Big O sent you. Get on down there to 1841 North State Road 7. Whether you're buying or leasing, go see Steve Ostroff. Herbie Lopez is amazing. Okay, just a great human being. When you walk in, there's a big desk, and you'll see several salespeople, an elevated desk. It's behind the secretaries. To the far right, okay, you'll see a bald guy. That's Herbie. Telling you, go see him. Great dude. Gary Thompson, also bald. They're waiting for you. Rick, Eddie, Azric Smith, Joel Rubio, Lori Rodriguez, the lovely and talented one. So many great people out there at 1841 North State Road 7. Whether you're buying or leasing a vehicle, make sure you tell them that we sent you. Take advantage. Over 400,000 square feet. Over 1,500 cars and trucks. Listen, your lease is about to run out. Your car's a money pit. Let's get it on down. Let's get you a new vehicle at Toyota of Hollywood.
This is the Big O Show.
It's It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All right, we back. And Kenneth Cleveland with the second super chat of the day. You gonna break your own record, dude? All right, so Cody's got 1 on you. He's got 3. You got 2. You guys are amazing. I appreciate all of you, man. Much love out there. Coach Flores from the Miami Dolphins addressed the Meteors, and we love, of course, playing that press conference for you, and then, of course, giving you our response and our breakdown of what Coach Flores talked about. Let's play the head coach right here on the program. Go for it.
Good morning, Flo. I wanted to ask you a 2-part question about running backs. The first, with the news that Kalen Ballage failed his physical, where does he stand with the organization? And also, what is the team's level of interest in Leonard Fournette now that he's available?
Well, anyone, we look at the waiver wire every day. So, to your Fournette question, Chris and the scouting staff, they'll make their evaluations, write a report, and we'll just kind of see, like all players who hit the waiver wire or street free agents, we'll see if we feel like it's will be a good fit for us. If we do, then we'll make a move. If not, then we won't. As far as the Kalen situation, obviously he reverted back to us, and we've had obviously discussions internally, and that's an ongoing situation, and we'll address it when it's when necessary to address.
Now, again, not going to trash players. That's not his style. He gave you a general answer. Miami is not going to claim him, obviously, because they're not going to pick up that salary. And so it's something that he would have to clear waivers to then pick him up. I'm not saying they should. I don't believe Fournette is unreliable. He is injury prone, and he's also unreliable when it comes to his attitude. This guy's done a lot of stupid things while he's been in Jacksonville. He's not a flow type player. And so I talked about this yesterday. To me, Leonard Fournette does not make any sense whatsoever for the Miami Dolphins. He's in a contract year, so he's going to be selfish about wanting carries. He's going to want touches. He's going to create problems in the backfield. And then why did you sign Howard and Breida then? You traded for Breida and you signed Howard. It would be pretty dumb for you to now bring in another running back that then you would end up not using those guys, and then he's got to fight with the rest of the guys for playing time, and you've got to deal with the petulant child trying to get his carries and his touches because he wants his stats so he can go get paid. The position is too interchangeable to be worried about, this guy. He's not the player he's not the professional that you need in this locker room at this point in time. So it doesn't make any sense. Go ahead. Continue with the and as for Ballage, who cares at this point? Eventually he'll get released. Go ahead. John.
Hey, Flo, I wanted to just check in with you and on your stance on how the rookie class as a whole has done, knowing that they had no OTAs in preseason, and, now that we're at the last week before you guys make some big decisions, how you think the rookie class that you drafted as a whole has done to adapting to everything that comes with being a Dolphin.
Yeah, I think given the situation, I think they've worked hard. They've improved over the course of training camp. But, the big thing with the rookies, on our team and really across the league is you never really know about a player until there's live action. Some guys get tight when it's live action. Some guys play better when there's live action. So you just don't it's hard to know. So we're going to go into the unknown this season. A little bit more in the preseason. But even that isn't a regular season game. I think, I'm pleased with our rookie class. All of them really, from the guys who we drafted early to the undrafted guys. I think they're all working hard. I think they're all bought in, but there's a lot of unknown here. As you guys could imagine, there's, playing in an NFL game, this is the speed of it, the pressure that's involved in playing in the game, the players you're playing against. I mean, these guys are big, they're physical, they're strong, they're tough, they're angry. So, when you get put in that situation, pressure bust pipes is a phrase that's been used, for a long time, and we'll see. And it's not just us; that's every team.
Omar?
So I want to ask you primarily about your rookie lineman, not necessarily Austin Jackson, but the decisions that you have to make with Robert Hunt or Solomon Kindley, who fills in on that right side of that line. What goes into your judgment? Is it where Jesse Davis best fits, or which rookie do you feel is further ahead and ready to start? Is it conditioning? I mean, what goes into the thought process on that decision you have to make on the right side?
I mean, all those things, everything you mentioned goes into the decision. Conditioning, best fit, best overall. But I would say, the number one thing is the overall group. We're talking about 5 guys. We need to get on the same page from a communication standpoint. And And I think, the three rookies, Austin, Robert Hunt, Solomon Kinley, I think they've all played well at times during training camps. They've all made mistakes as well. So, these are tough decisions that we have to make. And look, things change over the course of the season. So, like I was telling Josh earlier, we may feel a certain way now, put a group out there, and look, if a player freezes up, then we got to make an adjustment. I think we all know that. So, but I like where they're at. I think they're all working, look, we're still in a little bit of an evaluation phase here. Got to practice today. A couple of practices later in the week, so no official decisions have been made. And honestly, you guys probably won't know till opening day. So the exact what it is. So, but I like where they're all at.
Barry? Hi, Brian. It's good to see you. I haven't been able to ask you any questions because of Zoom issues, so I'm going to make up for it with two, okay? First one was, are you open to using a Landon Roberts at fullback, or do you want him to focus solely on defense? And also curious how close the Tua Rosen competition is for the number 2 job.
So Roberts, obviously Landon's played fullback in the past. And look, he's someone who's willing to play wherever we ask him to play. But we got a lot of guys that way. So it's definitely a possibility, Barry. I would say that. But, it's not something that, we're going to make any definitive decision on right now. We still got 12 days. So that's where we're at, where they landed. As far as Tua Rosen, and might as well throw Fitzpatrick in there as well. That's still a lot of competition at that position. So, we're not saying somebody's 1, 2, 3. It's still a competition. And obviously Fitz has played well. They've all played well in spurts, and they've all made mistakes. And we just gotta, we still gotta keep it. Still got a few days here, but I think that we like where all three of them are, and we will continue to leave that as a competition moving forward.
That's the kind of question that you ask, and if you expected an answer, you're pretty naive. You know what I mean? He's not going to tell you how he's going to use a player at fullback or linebacker. Why is he going to tell New England how he plans to use Landon Roberts? And then the competition for the number 2 quarterback, why would he give Tua the upper hand at this point and then deflate Rosen, or vice versa? Why would he say, well, Rosen's got the nod right now. He's a little ahead of Tua. He would be the number 2 guy right now if we were playing tomorrow. Why would he do that? He's not going to do that. That's why he even threw in, the 1, the 2, or the 3. He wants Rosen thinking he's got a shot to start. He wants Tua thinking he's got a shot to start. When neither one are going to start. Okay? This is all Fitz all the way. And the other 2 guys, let me explain something that could happen this year. Rosen could be the number 2 guy. There's a good chance. Just because of the experience, and maybe health-wise right now, they don't want to put Tua at number 2 because then they put him at risk. Maybe they're not ready to see him take hits on that hip, whatever it is. And there's also this thing that you could have the number 2 alternating all year long. It could be that they're 2A and 2B. It could be that Rosen's the 2 all the way through. It could be that that Tua's number 2 all the way through. But again, if you expected any kind of concrete answers from those 2 questions, pretty naive. Go ahead.
Good morning, Flo. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
I guess a little 2-parter for me, too. I guess we're getting closer to cut down day. So I wanted to ask, what's your comfort level on who you think your 53 is, I guess, at this point? Is I guess my first part. And the second part, I know you just mentioned the quarterbacks. Is there a
He'll say
day, I
there'll
guess,
be
going into week
positions
one, you would like to
fighting
know
still.
who my QB1 is, or at least tell us who your QB1 is?
So in the 53, I mean, look, we've got, a lot of competition on this team.
Wow, a lot of
at various
competition.
positions. So,
Who said that?
I mean, it's probably, let's call it 60 players vying that, we feel good about. To include and probably
15 other Joe on the
when you
practice
start
squad.
talking
That's
about practice
75
squad
out of 80.
spots as well, with there being 16 practice squad spots this season. So there's a lot of, I think we got some talented players, some guys we can develop. So as far as forecasting, who the best players or who the guys we think can develop, that becomes a little bit of a longer conversation, to say the least, Cam. As far as who the 53 are, I kind of look at it as who the 69 are, to be honest with you. And we're going to have to release some of those guys and hope that we get them back. So on the practice squad. But yeah, I mean, I've got a pretty good, idea of who the, let's call it 69 players are. And the next question was QB1. When would we like to know? As soon as possible. When will you guys know? Probably as late as possible is, where I'll leave it.
It's not going to answer this
Nice.
question.
That's a nice chair you got there, Cam.
Yeah. I was saying it while he was, right before he was answering, I pretty much gave the answer right there. He's not going to tell you who the 53 are. And when he tells you, 60-something, 69 or whatever, there's 80 players. So, again, he doesn't want to say, I know who my 53 are. They're already set. I think maybe we have 55 guys competing for the 53 spots. Let's just, for craps and giggles. Then he deflates everybody else. Because most of them will kind of figure out who they are. But if you leave it open like that, the back end of that roster still feels they have a shot. If they don't make the team, they make the practice squad. And because the practice squad's so big, again, it's a very general question that I don't think you're ever going to get a specific answer. Not from that dude. He's way too smart. Go ahead, Bill.
I like that, is that you got a little nice little blanket there too.
Good morning, Flo. Joe here. Will giving Tua more time and separation from his injury be a part of the discussion about who is active at the quarterback position? Or is that at this time no longer a factor? Is it not a part of this discussion or the equation?
I was just kind of focused on your pronunciation. It was good. I got the question. It's good. I'm just messing around, Joe. As far as answering that question, that is definitely part of the conversation for sure. I mean, I think we're at 10 months. It was a pretty serious injury. He looks good though. I mean, you guys have seen him. He looks good. He looks healthy. He's moving around to his right, to his left. But yes, that's part of the conversation. Look, he's a great kid. I care about him. I want what's best for him. And that's definitely part of the conversation.
And it has to be part of the conversation. And I've been telling you from the get-go, haven't I? That's why I'm not in a hurry to see the kid. I want to see him late in the second half of the season, in November and December, when it's a year removed, when he's had time to get healthy, when what? The offensive line is in a groove. And that's pretty good honesty from Flo, because he kind of tells you that Rosen has an inside track at even being the number 2 guy. Because if the hip is still a concern 10 months in, and he mentions it, we're 10 months into the rehab, then they're well aware of that, which they should be. But the fact that he's even willing to mention it publicly is pretty big. Okay? That's kind of a decent declaration on Flo's part there. You would think he would say, well, right now we're not thinking that he looks great out there, and if we think he can play, he can play. And then that way you keep the opponent also off balance. You keep everybody off balance because you don't know what you're doing with the backup. But the fact that he's telling you that the hip has to be in some consideration and the rehab and all that, then that tells me that that's also going to go into the decision of, well, let's have Rosen as our number 2 guy and active, because if something happens to Fitz and we need to go to a quarterback and we have him active, let's have the guy with the healthy hip active. Okay? Let's do that. That's what I think is going to end up happening. Go ahead.
We got time for 2 more. We'll go to Alan.
Good morning, Brian. I wanted to ask you quickly about Julian Davenport. How would you assess his development over the past year?
He's made a lot of improvements. He's stronger. He made a lot of gains in the offseason. His technique, his footwork's, a lot better. He's made a lot of improvement. Obviously started with, some games last year. I've been very happy with him, and I've seen a lot of improvement. We would have no problem putting him in the game.
Final one, Omar.
I want to ask you a little bit about your comfort level with your receiver depth, especially considering the injuries that you've got and Preston's pre-existing injury. Where is that comfort level, and what have you seen from guys like Hollins, Ford, Rodgers?
Depth chart, huh? It's your depth chart there? Yes, depth chart.
We are putting the 53 together in Saturday, so we need to sort of stack it up in what they bring to the table.
Okay. Yeah, I feel guys like Ford, Hollins, Rodgers. Obviously, you mentioned Devontae and Preston and Jakeem. I think they're all. I like the depth. They're all working. They all understand kind of their role in the offense. Malcolm Perry's part of that as well. They all have different and unique skill sets. So I like the depth, and I think their role in the kicking game will also play a role in that evaluation, whether it's Jakeem as a punt returner, Mac Hollins as a gunner, Malcolm Perry, in his roles as a punt returner, as a PPO punt, Isaiah Ford, who can move around and play multiple positions. So, I like the depth. It's a hardworking group. And, they all block. It's important to them. So I think I like the group.
All right, let me explain why that question pretty much is a waste of time. Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Isaiah Ford, Jakeem Grant, Malcolm Perry. Your receiving group is done. What depth? What are you worried about? What's that question for? The question is more about which guys make it to the practice squad. That's really what it's all about. You've got your 5. I'm not sure where Omar was going with that question. Your other guys after your 5 are the guys you're going to have to release and then bring back when they clear waivers and add them to the practice squad. You're not adding Chester Rogers to the practice squad, but maybe Mac Hollins can still be on the practice squad. The Gary Jennings kid. You're not keeping 6 receivers. You're going to keep 5. Okay? Kirk Merritt, you drafted, or no, he's a street free agent, I think it is, or something like that. Whatever. He's part of the rookie class, drafted or undrafted. But my point is, that's a guy that could go to the practice squad. But the depth, it's set already. You have your 5 guys. and you count Perry as a receiver, you don't count him as a running back. What you do is you have Jordan Howard, you have Matt Breida, you have Myles Gaskin, and probably Patrick Laird. That'll be your 4 that you keep. And why? Gaskins and Laird can also catch passes along with Breida. Howard's not really a pass catcher, but you don't want him necessarily for that. So for me, that question for Omar, unless I'm missing something, and I'm not perfect, I could be, to me it was kind of a waste of time because the receivers are already set and you keep 5. You don't really keep 6. If you're keeping a 6th, then maybe we've got a conversation now. Hey, where's Matt Collins? Where's Matt Cole? Where's Kirk Merritt? Where's, whatever. Ricardo Lewis, you name it. But you got your 5 already. It's set. Albert Wilson and Allen Hurns made your job easy. Once those guys dropped out, the question was Malcolm Perry good enough to fit on the roster, or do we slide him in at running back because we were loaded at wide receiver? Now that you're not loaded at wide receiver, now you have your 5. You technically had 7 competing for 5, but 2 dropped out. The other guys, Chester Rogers and Matt Collins and Ricardo Lewis and Matt Cole and Andy Jones and Gary Jennings, those guys were periphery guys anyways. All right, let's take a break. Let's switch gears. Marlins made all kinds of trades. Jordan McPherson covers the Marlins for the Miami Herald. We will talk to him next.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura
Are you tired
dealer.
of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
All right, we're back. Marlins were really active once again in the trade deadline. They made all kinds of moves, and Jordan McPherson covers the Marlins for the Miami Herald. He is a must-follow on Twitter for all of us Marlins fans at J_McPherson1126, and catch his work there at the Miami Herald website or at your doorstep. Subscribe like I subscribe, support local journalism, and support people like Jordan doing an excellent job. Jordan, good afternoon, my friend. How are you doing, sir?
Good afternoon to you too, Big O. I'm doing great. How have you been, bud?
I am doing great, my brother. It just seems like the plan continues for the Marlins. And, you know, in reading your article, the prospects are in line. Sixto, Sandy, Pablo, Elliser, and Trevor are now your 5 guys, and I think in your stats it was 7 of their top 12 prospects are in their rotation. This is kind of working out the way they are looking to build this team through youth.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I mean, we have to gush about Sixto if we're going to talk about the rotation. Just watching what he's done in his first 2 starts, and how he built off that first start to go from 5 innings, gives up a couple home runs, Marlins offense has to carry him a little bit toward the end, to absolutely lights out, no holds bar, 7 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts against one of the best teams in baseball this year in the Rays, was phenomenal to watch. And to think that, again, that's just 2 starts into his career. He has start number 3 on Wednesday against the Blue Jays at home again. If he can continue that, and you can keep seeing what we've seen from Pablo this year, and if Sandy Alcantara becomes the ace, returns to the ace form that he was at the end of last year and on opening day before the whole COVID fiasco, which outside of the first inning against the Rays in his first game actually looked pretty good. If you have the 3 of them as your 1, 2, 3 in this season, that's a really formidable top of the rotation. Trevor Rogers has impressed me in his 2 starts. Obviously, we still need to see a little bit more from him. He's going to get deeper in the games. Same with Eliezer. But the fact that you have those 5, it's really beneficial for them both this season and long term. And it was also a big factor in them being able to make some of the moves that they made yesterday.
I see. I got you. I got you, my brother. And I mean, you look at the starting rotation. Now, explain to people the method behind the madness on the Starling Marte acquisition, because some people kind of question it, but it makes actually a lot of sense why they did it, because it does send a good message, too, in the process. So explain.
Yeah, definitely. So Marlins got Starling Marte from the Arizona Diamondbacks in exchange for Caleb Smith, Humberto Mejia, and another low-level pitcher. The main thing behind that was, in the grand scheme of things, in the long term, looking into 2021 and 2022, as great as Caleb Smith was for the Marlins at times, he ultimately wasn't in the big picture in the grand scheme of what this rebuild is. He's already 29 going on 30. He only has a couple more years of team control. He goes into arbitration, I think, at the end of this year. And the fact that the Marlins were able to see Sixto Sanchez and Trevor Rogers and get a glimpse of knowing that Edward Cabrera and Braxton Garrett and Max Meyer are waiting in the wing as well, it made sense for the Marlins to trade Caleb now while they still were still able to get value for him. And when you also consider the fact that he only threw 3 innings for the team this year, it's not like he was the glue holding the rotation together during this first month of the season. He's been sidelined from the COVID-19 fiasco. So the fact that they were able to get a really good hitter, a guy who can basically solidify center field and be that middle of the order bat that this team sorely needs, for a guy who ultimately wasn't in their long-term plans and didn't really have the opportunity to contribute much this season, overall, that trade makes more sense than what some people just looking at, why did they trade Caleb? It makes a lot more sense when you think of it from that perspective.
And when Griffin Conine gets added in the Jonathan Villar move, explain to us a little bit how good Griffin Conine is. Obviously, those of us that have been around long enough, we know Jeff. We know what his dad did a couple of times for this team. He is Mr. Marlin. He's the one guy tied to both championships and the expansion year, so he's the guy that we identify with the most. Tell us a little bit about his son, who's also a left-hander.
Yeah, left-handed hitter, outfielder, has a lot of pop. He obviously he's still in the minors. He still has a little bit of a ways to go. But the fact that you were able to get a guy of his caliber, a guy with familial ties to the organization for an expiring contract. Yes, Jonathan Villar was really good and made a lot of contributions to this team over these first 30 games. Obviously, the stolen bases, has a few clutch hits, makes that big grab in the 5th inning on Monday right before he finds out he's getting pulled out of the line because he's being traded. But the fact of the matter is, he was going to be a free agent after this year. The Marlins didn't have the plan to keep him after this year. So again, this was a half of the season deal, flip him at the deadline, and basically serve as the juxtaposition of what they got from Starling Marte. In the Starling Marte trade, they got a trade to win now. With the VR trade, it showed the promise that they're still looking to build sustainability for the long term and find ways to keep building the organizational depth and make sure that they can keep the winning ways going beyond this shortened 2020 season.
You know, 3 years ago when they took over, you really couldn't tell in a way what the plan was. You can tell us everything. It's really starting to really look nice and clear now, right, Jordan? The way the minors are stocked up, the way now their major league team is full of young guys that they can now build on. We now see the plan kind of coming to fruition.
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, obviously those first 2 years, everyone knew year one was going to be an absolute struggle. Year two was expected to be and was more of the same. But this was supposed to be, COVID shortened season or not, this was supposed to be the year that we were supposed to start seeing the upswing. We were supposed to start seeing some of those top prospects who finally got to the upper levels of the minor leagues finally break through, even if it ultimately meant that they struggled this year before finding their footing in 2021. But in the shortened season, with the fact that you have so many options and so many younger guys, on top of, again, don't forget the value of the Corey Dickersons and the Francisco Cervellis, which we're still hoping to see him back after dealing with the concussion that happened, with Jesus Aguilar, with having these veteran guys who are here for a year, maybe two, to help with easing these younger guys up here and helping them make the progression they need to make. This is the turnaround. This is the turnaround here that the Marlins were hoping to see, and they're seeing it. I mean, Jesus Sanchez has looked pretty good. Granted, the batting average isn't what it should be. Lewin Diaz has impressed me in more ways than I can possibly explain. We're finally seeing Lewis Brinson show some consistency. Granted, it's only 5 games, but if he can build off this last week and really start putting things together and show some modicum of sustained success in the big leagues, it could really start helping them turn things around. And then Sixto Sanchez and Jorge Alfaro from the Real Muto trade. It's looking like we're getting the pieces together. They're finally all up here together, and they're finally showing why the Marlins traded for them in the first place over these last 2.5 years.
Now, Jordan, I'm getting really pumped up about the Marlins. I really like what they're doing. Dude, they're not going to break my heart. These guys aren't going to be leaving after they develop them, right? I mean, they're gonna keep a core, right? I mean, that's kind of the plan. Do you get that feeling that they really are committed to keeping a core here?
If they don't keep a core here, I don't know why they did everything over these last 3 years. That's my interpretation of it. Mm-hmm. They need to figure out the way to keep. I mean, again, with the fact that all of these guys who are coming up now, they're under team control for 6 years. They're not going to be much in terms of the salary cap unless you give a couple of guys extensions after year 1 or year 2, and also figuring out what they need to do with Brian Anderson now that he has an arbitration after this year. But again, they made all of those trades. They sent away all of the superstars, all of the all-stars, all of the big names to have this group that is finally showing up. So if they're just going to raise them up just to ship them off, it sort of feels like they're going to be doing exactly what they were what they said they weren't going to do when they took over. So watching how they handle all this and keep this group together and what they decide to do with that core, it's going to be a telling point for whether this becomes a 1 or 2 year thing or if they're going to try to sustain this long term.
Jordan McPherson from the Miami Herald joining us, Marlins beat writer. Isan Diaz applying for reinstatement now. How much did that play into any of these moves?
I think it played a little bit into the move to trade VR. Granted, even without Isan, you still had John Birdie and Eddie Alvarez who could easily handle second base. You could bring up Jazz Chisholm if you wanted him to play second, even though you're grooming him to be a shortstop. But the fact that Isan is opting back in, and I've heard that he is going to be reinstated, that MLB and the MLBPA agreed to allow him to be reinstated, it gives them a little bit of a boost. I don't know exactly what production we'll see out of Isan, considering he only played 3 games before opting out of the season when the outbreak happened, and the fact that you're still going to probably need to give him at least a week or 10 days to get ready down in Jupiter before coming back up. But this also gives the Marlins a chance to get a little bit more of a read on him, because they only have 2 months of big league experience to go off of with Isan. And considering the fact of how the rest of the Yelich trade has unfolded so far, I mean, Yamamoto just not looking great, and that's probably the biggest understatement I've given on this show since I started talking to you over these last couple months. Mm-hmm. Monte needing to improve at the plate. And again, I mentioned Brinson Stride, but still need to see consistently. They need to see at least 1 or 2 of those 4 pieces work out in order to, in some semblance, justify how that trade unfolded.
I'll tell you, the other day, Brinson was on one of those Zoom calls with you guys, and, man, he is super likable, bro. I mean, it's like you really want Lewis Brinson to be a stud, because the way he carries himself is, and considering the hell he's been through, that this guy can't get above the Mendoza line in batting over his career, and to have the attitude that he has, and it hasn't affected his defense either, man, he's really easy to root for, Jordan.
He really is. I mean, he's a hometown kid, Coral Springs High, Fort Lauderdale native. He knows that those first 2 years in the organization did not go how they needed to go in any sense of the word. I mean, 182 batting average, I think it was, over those 2 years, and ultimately getting sent down midway through last season to go to AAA and find himself. He still has that mentality that obviously he has work to do, and he's not letting those 2 years of struggles get the best of him. He's trying to find whatever he can to improve his batting average, improve his approach to the plate. He's closed up a little bit more at the plate. You can see he has a little bit of a better stance. He's not wobbling the bat as much as when he's at the plate waiting for the pitch. He has a better approach. And like you said, he's a guy who's very easy to root for. Every time I talk with him, he's a class act guy. He has character on character on character. Watching him talk and express himself and explain himself after what the Marlins and the Mets did last Thursday with the 42 seconds of solidarity, Lewis putting the Black Lives Matter shirt on home plate, just the emotions that were coming out of him after that, and for him to still keep his own and still be the same guy who he's been on a personal standpoint, on a personal level, is just so great to see. And he just needs to find some way to make that part of Lewis Brinson translate to the field in order for him to be able to stay here for more than likely this year. Because again, the Marlins have a lot of outfielders. They have pretty good depth there, and they have a lot of guys nipping at the heels of the major league guys. So he's going to have to do something and do something quick in order to be able to find a way to stay on this roster too.
So how shocked are you that they're 15-15? Because they've had all those games. They've had the double headers. They've had to play several games within a couple of days. And to me, Jordan, they're so young that they don't know any better. And I feel like a veteran team would have been run down a little bit, would have been pissed off and grouchy about, the way the schedule's broken down for them after all the setbacks. Yet somehow another 30 games into this season, they're 15-15, and they're in the middle of this playoff race. This is crazy stuff, dude.
It really is. I mean, this team's gone through hell. I mean, 3 games into the season, they have the COVID outbreak. They're sitting out for a week. Their entire schedule gets upheaval, 23 straight days on the road, doubleheaders on doubleheaders. They faced Jacob deGrom 4 times in 10 games against the Mets for crying out loud. They only have 1 win at home so far this year. And through it all, through roster turnover, I'm pretty sure the count's over 120 roster moves since opening day at this point. And for the fact that they're still at 500, they're still tied for second in the National League East, which gets them into the playoffs this year. It's just a phenomenal story that we're watching unfold before our eyes. The big thing is seeing what happens over the second 30 games. Because remember, this Thursday, after they play the 2 games against the Blue Jays, this Thursday is their last off day of the year. They played 29 games over these last 26 days. That's a lot of baseball with not a lot of rest. If this team finds a way to make it through and doesn't crack, we're going to be seeing Marlins baseball in October, which is something that I don't think any of us could envision when we walked into spring training back in February.
Hey, let me walk you through something that might have been a negative that turned into a positive. All that coronavirus stuff that took out, how many was it? 16, 17 players, 18 players? How many was it?
18 players, and then you lost Eson for the month also when he opted out. So they really lost 19 players in the span of a week.
How many of those are back already?
And my count, there are 8 back, and then Eson will be a 9th back.
Okay, so you'll get 10 more. My point is, not everybody's going to be burned out because not everybody's played the 60-game hell schedule. Only a few guys have done that. You've actually had a rotation of players, and now with the trades and everything else, you've had some fresh bodies injected into all of this. So the coronavirus, which was a setback one way, in another way, it kind of became a blessing because you still stayed afloat with the guys that replaced you. And now when you get all 18, 19 guys back, you're in the mix, and some of these guys are pretty fresh. So it's not too bad, actually, in some cases.
No, that's a fair point. And just for a quick update on that, Caleb Smith was one of the COVID guys who got traded, so they're not getting him back, obviously. And they DFA'd Adam Conley, who was also part of that group. But in the big picture, yes, you're right. And it also, to amplify it, you had Sandy Alcantara, who basically is only through 1 game. You have a completely fresh Sandy Alcantara for the final month of the year.
That's right.
To go with a Sixto Sanchez who wants to prove himself in the rotation. You're going to have Jose Urania back, whether you have him put him as the number 5 spot and put Trevor Rogers in the bullpen or vice versa. You're going to have a fresh Jose Urania as well. You're going to have a fresh Nick Neiter as well. You have Garrett Cooper back who
listen, Garrett Cooper's on pace for 32 home runs, man. All right?
Is that good? Is that good in the 60-game season, let alone in the 30 games that he's going to play? I mean, yeah, that Cooper was the next guy I was planning on mentioning. I mean, he only hit the ball 451 feet against Jacob deGrom yesterday, right. And I said only just because he hit it 455 feet against the Rays the day before.
Right.
It's seeing that pop from him and having that DH spot this year, that's where having a guy like Cooper and having a designated hitter in the National League this year, that is benefiting the Marlins so much more than they probably realized it would have benefited them coming into the season.
Yeah, hey, Miguel Rojas is a little fresher than he would have been, right? Because he got a little rest. He got a little COVID rest, too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but in Mickey's defense, he was hitting 700 beforehand. I think he probably would have wanted to keep going at that point.
Yeah, he's cooled down. He's only batting .349 for the season. You know, he's struggling along. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of fun, Jordan. I mean, we didn't really expect this. Even though you know, in the back of your mind, you're going 60 games, anything can happen. You know, you look at the Nationals last year, they sucked in their first 60 games. They turned their season around the next 100. You know what I mean? So anything can happen, and right now anything is happening, and our Marlins are in the mix. It's crazy stuff, dude. It really is.
It really is, and again, it's been incredible to watch unfold in person. I'm just looking forward to seeing what these next 27 days have to offer before we see what ultimately happens if they make the playoffs.
All right, Jordan, what are you working on there at the Herald so Marlins fans can check you out, my friend?
Well, I just finished up the piece which you mentioned a couple times, just breaking down how they kept themselves in playoff contention. I'm working on a piece that's hopefully going to run on the off day on Thursday, just trying to dive into what that group who tested positive for COVID and basically had to wait for 3 weeks to get back. I've talked with a handful of them so far. I'm trying to get a couple more over the next couple of days, and just breaking out what their experience was watching as the team made the run and what they were doing while they were quarantined and working back in Jupiter. And then after that, it's just finding a couple profiles. I'm trying to work on that. Depending on how the team plays over the next couple weeks will determine which ones I go with in what order.
Follow him on Twitter, J_McPherson1126. Keep up with the Marlins. Find him on the Herald. Jordan, as always, my friend, thank you for taking some time. Thank you for dropping the knowledge. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Big O. Always happy to join.
Thank you, my friend. There you go, Jordan McPherson. Good stuff there, talking a little Marlins. It's such a great story, dude. It's turned out, I don't know how many of you are following the Marlins and watching them. I know they're not as popular, and, you know, I get it. I understand, but this is just a lot of fun, and the way they're making the trades, and when they picked up Conine last night, and you know, you get such a good feeling when you hear the name Conine, you know, because Jeff meant so much to us. Expansion, the first 2 championships.
It's our guy.
It's our guy. You know, and so and you saw his son grow up and then become a player here in South Florida, and then obviously get drafted, and for them to acquire him and bring him back to South Florida, and maybe here's a guy that helps being – think about it. I mean, hey, man, it's good luck to have a Conine on our team, right? And maybe this is the next Conine that is the next part of the championships down the line. The key will be, of course, it's great to develop, you know, reading that stat that the 5 guys you have in your starting rotation now are 7 of your top 12 prospects. Then you are headed – in the direction that you were trying to set yourself up in. Now the question is, after you've developed these guys over the next couple of years, do you keep them? That's the next test. But, you know, it's fun, man, to watch this. And
if you have real pitchers like quarterbacks in your farm, you know, they have a higher value.
Yeah.
You'll get more back.
You'll easily get bats in return. We're going to talk to Neil Stratton when we come back on the other side from Inside the League. He's got a new book out, and it's war stories from scouts in the NFL. So you know there's going to be a lot of good stuff in it. We'll talk to Neil when we come back on the other side. If you want to get in, you can chime in on the text line 786-322-1105. On Twitter at Big O Show, on the YouTube chat board. You can chime in on the Super Chat. Many ways to reach out to us. Let's take a break. Back with more right here on the Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
talk a little football here. My man Neil Stratton does an excellent job of covering the league. All you got to do is go to his website, InsideTheLeague.com. You can follow them on Twitter at Inside the League. He's got a release that he a release every week that gives you a little information. It's a great website. He's also got a new book out. It's called Scout Speak, Thinking and Talking About Being an NFL Evaluator. So he's got a lot of war stories going on in there, so it's going to be nice and juicy. And Neil is always kind enough to join us here on the program to talk a little football. Neil, how you doing, my brother?
Oh, it's an honor to be here, brother. I really appreciate you having me on.
It's always a pleasure to have you on, man, to talk a little football. First of all, I still don't give college football season much of a chance because I just think it's crazy to control 100 kids full of hormones and want to party and get laid. I think COVID's going to be a problem. But the NFL, I've said I give it a slim chance because guys have responsibilities. Wives or girlfriends, cars, houses. They got bills, dude, like the rest of us. So a lot of these guys may be smart enough to try to stay away from it. How do you think the NFL will fare with COVID this season? Can we get an entire season in?
I think we have a better than even chance. I'd say maybe even a 70% chance. I think the momentum is moving towards away from COVID. I think we're starting to see new technology take place. We're starting to see the faster tests, the cheaper tests. I don't have any insight to whether or not the NFL is going to adopt the measures that the NFLPA is advocating for to continue the testing throughout the season. But I think I'm optimistic, and I think there's a lot of reasons for optimism. I'm hopeful about the college season as well, and I understand your reservations, but I think there's a better chance the NFL plays, and I'm pretty sure that they will. I think they get through a 16-game season. I certainly better than half percentage, and maybe 2/3. I'm hopeful anyway.
Well, let's hope so, my brother. Let's see if they can get it done because we're excited down here about the direction the Dolphins are going in building this team up. What are your thoughts so far on what you've seen and how they've turned over this roster in a very short time? Your impression so far on what the Miami Dolphins have done?
We got a wide open opportunity. I think the Patriots are down. A lot of people a lot of experts still see the Patriots as a team that won't go away, but you got to have the players. I think the needle's pointing up for the Dolphins. I see them as a wild card team right now. I think the Bills win the division. I think the Dolphins have an excellent chance to be a wild card team. I don't know when Tua steps in. I don't know if they hold him out all year, but they've made so many advances and beefed up the team in so many other ways that I feel like they're moving in the right direction. They've got talent where they need it. If they have good health this year, and I feel like this could be their year to get back here in playoffs.
Neil, you and I are lucky that we get to go on the road a lot of times and we get to meet with a lot of personnel people, and that's what I've tried to explain to people, and I don't know how you feel, but I think Chris Grier has paid his dues, and I think he deserves this opportunity, and I think he knows his football, and the way he's gone about it has been very responsible and very fundamental on how he's trying to rebuild the team. But then you add Reggie McKenzie and Marvin Allen, and again, you know enough about personnel. I just think they've got a three-headed monster at the top that is, I think it's going to end up becoming one of the stronger front offices in all of pro football because I already know Marvin and Reggie's history and what they've been able to do with other organizations. But you know how minorities are. They don't get the same opportunities that other guys do. And I think these guys now are really going to take advantage. And I think this three-headed monster, along with Brian Flores, that's where I think Miami is. That's where I think they're different from where they've been in the last 20 years. Put it that way.
Well, have you ever been given a good reason why Reggie McKenzie was let go, other than the power struggle with John Gruden? I mean, I thought he did a fabulous job there. I've never heard anyone give me a good reason why, he did this wrong or he did that wrong. I've heard a lot of rumors and innuendo out of Oakland about how he did things, but to me, you can argue with the results in the field. I mean, they had some ups and downs, but I think they're moving in a positive direction. He's an obvious talent evaluator. He's got experience in the big chair. He's a great guy to bounce ideas off of if you're a Grier. they've got and then Marvin Allen is top 10, top 20 evaluators in all of the NFL as far as personnel. Leaned on by people across the game. He's paid his dues. He's been on the road. I mean, I believe in the people that paid their dues and they came up the right way. All three of those guys did.
Yep.
And if you don't root for someone like that, then, who do you root for? I totally agree. And, hey, let me tell you something. I was not a big fan of the Flores hire because I thought, okay, yeah, pick another apple off the Belichick tree and let's see if this one works. He's committed himself to me. I mean, here's a team that went into last season and people thinking, hey, maybe they go winless.
Right.
And they were competing for a playoff spot at the end of the season. They definitely made strides. I mean, I see some Mike Tomlin in him. I see some Zimmer in him. I see a guy who's not flashy, who does it with defense, but has a team that believes in him and is moving in the right direction. And if I'm a Dolphins fan, I'm optimistic.
Yeah, me too. I can't brag enough about how happy I am the way they've done things, and I've been extremely unhappy with the way they've been doing things for 20 years down here. So for me, I just see night and day right now. All right, so because we just talked about, you do your deal and you get to know a lot of personnel people, I would imagine that over the years with all the stories you've accumulated, that was the motivation behind Scout Speak?
Come March and April, I found myself a little more time on my hands and I guess everyone kind of did. And so I thought, I've got all these transcriptions of interviews and videos and conventions and convocations and seminars that I've done. And there's a lot of gold in there. And I've never had a chance to really put it together in one place. So I kind of aggregated it all and put it all there. And I came up with about 25,000 words. We need about 40,000 for about a 150-page book. So I went through and kind of organized all that and pulled out the really good stuff and the good stories and the good insights and the good quotes and all that jazz. And then I went through and kind of sifted through some of my blog posts that dealt with the scouting business that maybe didn't get as much exposure as I hoped for. And then I got to about 5,000, maybe 10,000 words left, and I kind of knitted it all together. I talked about all the things that if you've ever been fascinated with scouting and the front offices and the executive process of the game, I kind of explained some of those things to make it a little smoother. And what we came up with was a lot of really good stories. You want funny stories, they're in there. You want insightful stories, they're in there. You want stories about why a team chose this guy instead of that guy, they're in there as well. And then the cherry on top was getting Jeff Ireland, the assistant GM of the Saints, and I think your listeners might know a little bit about, might have an opinion on it, directed forward. And he did an outstanding job, and he had some more great stories. There's one about when the Saints draft day, when they were looking really hard at Patrick Mahomes, and they suddenly had a very distinguished visitor who made things really awkward there on draft day that day. So lots of good stories, lots of good stuff, lots of behind-the-curtain kind of things for fans that are interested in that kind of, more than just what happened on Sunday, but why it happened.
Listen, things didn't go well here for Jeff Ireland at times, but the one thing that cannot be denied is I think he's done an exceptional job in New Orleans. And I would not be surprised at one point or another somebody gives Jeff Ireland another shot at being a general manager and running a franchise again. I think it's going to end up happening. Look, Rick Spielman, it didn't go well for him here either, and then he went to Minnesota and kind of worked his way back up again into running that organization, and he's done one hell of a job with Minnesota too. So, one of the things that I've explained to Dolphin fans over the years, and why I'm also happy about this situation that's currently going on right now. If you think about it and you go back to Spielman, it was a power battle between him and Wannstedt. And when they came up short a couple times, Spielman ended up losing his power and Wannstedt took over again and had final say in personnel. And so then eventually both of their tenures ran, out here and they were gone. And Ireland was brought in by Parcells. But then he had the power struggle with Sperano and with Philbin and everything that went on. And so it just was never a good situation. There was always too many politics between the coach and the general manager, and that's because they went about building teams by adding one piece that was already in place to go with another, and you can't do that. If you have a general manager in place, you can't force a coach on them. Or if you have a coach in place and you hire a general manager and you force them to inherit that coach, it just doesn't work out. And then power struggles. There can't be multiple people in charge. What I like about what Stephen Ross finally did is he learned from all those mistakes and said, you know what? I'm hiring a general manager and I'm getting the hell out of the way. I'm not going to be part of the decision. Let the general manager hire his coach and let the coach hire his coordinators, and let's not involve the politics. And that's why I think Miami now has synergy, because they're doing something that they had never done before. And every time it was always like human Django is what I called it here for many years. You know, it's one brick slides out, let's slide that brick back in. And that just doesn't go that way. And I think that's the difference now. And that's why maybe a guy like Spielman is having success, because there are no politics in the way. He doesn't have to fight anybody else to make the decision. Maybe that's why Jeff Ireland also is having success, because he got to New Orleans, they gave him his job, and from there he's been able to actually do his job. When you eliminate the politics and the voices in charge, like we see with Pat Riley, like we see with Don Shula, now you've got a shot to succeed.
Well, you look at Spielman. He went to Minnesota and essentially used the same template he used in Miami. I mean, defense-oriented coach, got a confident quarterback, not a superstar, but a quarterback that could win, built around him, and now they're pretty much a playoff staple for the last 2 or 3 years. I think it takes, when you go in, to me, the GM seat is not an easy job. It's a place where you got to learn from your mistakes. Allen made his mistakes. I think he's learned. I think he's teammates are doing a shot. I think he'll give him a shot. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so in this book, my brother, Scout Speak, give us a couple of examples here, so folks can check it out and go to Amazon and purchase this baby, because I know I'm sure you got some good stories in here.
Well, you know, if you are looking for kind of draft intrigue, I went in and I looked and I had interviews with people that were in the Saints war room when the Saints found out that Reggie Bush was going to be available to them. So I went back and I also had interviews from people that were in the Texans war room when they decided to make the Mario Williams decision. Why did they do that? I mean, we go through that. There are stories about why did a team take this guy instead of that guy? How did a team find this guy that no one else knew about, and why did they choose to give him a chance? Why was it one guy hired over another guy? And there are a lot of insights about getting into scouting, if that's something that you've ever fantasized about, and why people get out of scouting. And a lot of funny stories. I mean, that you hear in the trail. I mean, you go to all the All-Star games, you go to the Combine, you're there. You hear stories at the bar. You hear stories picking up your bags at the airport. You hear stories on the sideline at these practices. You can't always tell them. You ain't have a place to tell them. We tell all those stories in this book, and that's what's fun to me is that there are so many places that are funny, places where you kind of understand maybe why a guy who's had a bad name in the game kind of screwed up. You understand why it was difficult for him to make that decision in the first place. But I think at the end of the day, we all know players make the teams, and ultimately it's about the talent on the field. But if you know what happened behind the scenes and why these decisions are made, you can kind of understand why a team has a certain culture, why they tend to be in the playoffs most years, why they tend to be one of the ones who's a Super Bowl contender instead of a team that's contending to the first pick in the draft every year. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into. Hopefully that's what we accomplished with the book.
All right, so give us a specific story, something that's either funny or controversial. Give us one story in the book as a teaser.
The one story one of the funniest stories, and it's got a good South Florida application to it. There was a coach, this is not a scouting story per se, but the story I heard at the Shrine game a few years ago. There's a coach who was his first time being able to go out on the road. He'd always been kind of an assistant to an assistant. This is his first time to go out, so he goes to South Florida. And this guy, he's got a little bit of an eye for spending money and gambling a little bit, so he gets into Highline. And so he spends his. So these are the days when school, there were no there were traveler's checks maybe. There certainly wasn't Venmo and Cash App and all those kind of electronic ways to send money. So essentially, he goes to South Florida with a lot of cash. Well, after a weekend watching Highlight, he no longer has that wad of cash. So now he's still got to accomplish all his recruiting missions, go to all his places, and he has no way to travel and no way to get around. So he goes to the side of town where a lot of Hispanic bars are, and he finds out they like to arm wrestle. Well, that's his game, is arm wrestling. So for over a weekend, he sleeps in his car and arm wrestles everyone he could possibly find, and winning $10 every time. So I guess he gets to the point where he can pay for his own gas and kind of gets back on his feet a little bit. No hotel, nowhere to sleep except the back of his car. Eventually, he bumps into a buddy who allows him to come and sleep on his floor. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, without any money, he essentially goes out, completes all his recruiting rounds, and goes back. I just thought that was funny that I got, I think we think of these coaches as composed professionals, always thinking 10 steps ahead. These guys are human beings that make mistakes just like everyone else, and they've got to use their wits to kind of recover from that. And so I thought that was a funny story. Highlights has been the bane of a lot of people's existences, and sure that's true of some coaches as well.
Hey, listen, I witnessed at the Las Vegas Football Classic. You remember the year Brandon Jacobs came out?
Mm-hmm.
You remember?
Oh, former Auburn player.
Right, he was tearing it up. Because he was in Southern Illinois, right? The Salukis, right? I think he played for Southern Illinois. So he was and remember, he left Auburn because of Cadillac Williams and Ricky and Ronnie Brown were there. They were loaded, and it's like, well, when am I going to go there to? I'm going to be behind those guys. So he goes to Southern Illinois. He tears it up. So the Las Vegas Football Classic invites him, and in that game, Brandon Jacobs made a name for himself. And the Giants took him. But in that game, the defensive coordinator started blitzing the offense. And, yeah, you see, you're already laughing because you know the rules. You're not supposed to do that in an All-Star game. And so at the end of that game, the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator from each team met almost at halfway on the field and had to be separated because they almost got into a fight right on the field. You know what I mean? They were mother effing each other and all that stuff. I mean, it was great, dude. It was just, and that's coaches, bro. I mean, they're just like us. Yeah. We're going to get pissed off too. I don't think this made your book, but I know of a couple of executives of a certain team at the Combine years ago. They went into Steak and Shake late at night. They may have had a little too much to drink, and a big, heavy-set woman came to take care of them. And in that whole drunken thing, they squeezed her honkers, and she kind of lost it. And the cops came and all that, and let me tell you, this was before social media, so none of this got out. And they apologized, and she gave him a break, but she could have easily got him arrested that night. It was like 3 a.m, dude. Yes, exactly. You and I have been there enough years that if you go late at night to Steak and Shake, you're going to see some stuff happen. Although lately, although in those days, the cops weren't really hanging out at Steak and Shake. Now, past midnight, they actually have like a cop hanging out there now. That wasn't like that back, this incident happened about, I say 12 to 15 years ago. You know what I mean? I know who the executives are. They're actually still in the league and everything, but it's funny, dude. It's just the crap that happens at times, you know what I mean? The stuff that we're privy to sometimes, and we can't even say anything about it.
I know I don't know if you noticed or not, but they closed Steak and Shake, I think, at midnight this past Combine. And I didn't go. I didn't go this year because of the whole COVID thing. I did not go. Yeah. I think it probably cut the revenues in half. I mean, that place probably does more business after midnight than it does before midnight.
Yes.
Midnight. And so midnight and 8 in the morning. Because it's open 24 hours and nothing else is in Indianapolis.
Yeah, and remember, 15 years ago, that was our only option. At least in Indy now, late at night, you'll find another option or two. Not too many, but man, back in the day, that was your only option after you were done, hanging out and doing some business. Because people don't realize that they don't realize, Neil, that we're actually doing business when we're out at night in those bars. The coaches aren't; they're relaxing, but the rest of us are actually working during that time.
You got that right. Yeah, my wife couldn't believe it, so I started taking her, and now she actually believes it, but it took her a while.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's same thing with my wife. Like, you're back at 2 a.m. What were you doing? I go, well, I was working. I'm telling you, I'm working. And so she figured it out now that, it's strange because we get a lot of business done at night in the combine.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And networking, man.
Yeah.
And building that file. I mean, that Rolodex, so to speak.
Yeah.
But right.
The weird part, Neil, for us now, it's harder because of social media and phones. Less guys are out. Less guys are drinking in public. All that other stuff. Hell, dude, in the Senior Bowl, I used to meet up with guys at Sammy's. Okay? I used to hang out with coaches and scouts at strip clubs. Okay, I remember seeing coaches go to the back room with 2 girls to get a private dance. We didn't. Right. To this day, it goes to the grave. But my point is, before social media, before the phones, it was a lot looser, and we could talk to guys, and they, all that. Now that the social media has taken over, and everybody has a phone in their hands, coaches are really, really, conservative about where they go and where they drink in public, too, on top of all of that. It's different, man.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Yeah. The numbers, you still see the coaches and scouts out at Senior Bowl, but they're in limited numbers. They're not, all in one place, and it seems like they're a little more discreet about what they do.
Yes, exactly. And you've got to be sometimes, because sometimes when I want to get info from somebody, it's like, all right, well, meet me over here at this time. And it's not really a popular place. It's like somewhere out on the edge somewhere, it's like, all right, I get it now, that kind of stuff. It's almost like they're all acting like Patriot employees nowadays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyone's got to be very circumspect these days. It's I guess that's not just a football thing, actually.
Yeah. So, is there a funny story you can give me outside of the other one that he was struggling with his money and arm wrestling? Anything else? Give me one more to tease the folks.
Well, we're going to talk about All-Star games. So I was at a certain All-Star game a couple of years ago. This is probably 10 years ago, and you know about the weigh-ins. For people that don't, you've got about 100 kids lined up alphabetically, and they're stripped down to nothing but their underwear and maybe a pair of shorts, and that's it. No shoes, no shirts, no nothing. Well, a lot of people know that if you go to an All-Star game where the scouts are, and every one of these kids is preached, hey, the scouts are watching everything you do. If you have something you need from a player, you can pretty much get it because they're going to give it to you. They're not going to do anything to make waves. So it happened that one of the players during the weigh-in had a baby mama, and I guess maybe he was getting arrears on the money that he owed her for whatever. And she knew that that was her chance. So it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, and she shows up, and I didn't see this personally, but I was told this story. I know it happened. But she shows up and starts making demands about money that he owes. Well, we're in a kind of small, cheap hotel, and right across the street from a little convenience store. So he gets out of line, waiting to go in, about to have his name called, runs across the street with her. I guess he puts on a shirt and maybe like flip-flops or shorts or socks or something, and goes over and pulls money out of an ATM so that she'll shut her mouth enough to not make waves and maybe not just jeopardize his NFL chances. He runs and gets back in line for the physical. I thought that really captured the urgency of an All-Star game, especially for the players from kind of lower tier and can't afford to make any mistakes and have to really have their best foot forward at all times, as well as the fact that so many people in their lives know that there is that urgency and know that they can get pretty much whatever they want if they take advantage of that time.
That is great stuff. Neil Stratton, Inside the League. Go to the website, InsideTheLeague.com. Follow them on Twitter at Inside the League. And you got to check out the book. It's called Scout Speak, Thinking and Talking About Being an NFL Evaluator. You're going to get all kinds of great stories in there from Neil. He's been at this for a long. What year is this for you now in our biz, baby?
We launched IPL in 02. I mean, almost 20 years. You and I are getting old, buddy.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. This year 30 for me, bro. In my radio biz, it's crazy stuff. How time flies, man. It is really nuts. Neil, thank you for taking some time, dropping the knowledge, man. I hope the book does well. I'm sure our listeners will be inspired to grab it, man. I appreciate you as always, my friend.
Appreciate you too. It's an honor, buddy. Have a great day.
You got it. There you go. The great Neil Stratton, man. Good people. Follow the Twitter handle at Inside the League. You can actually subscribe for their press release that they have every week. It's about the league, and you get some nuggets, stuff that's going on in the NFL. So sign up for it and get the book, man. Scout Speak. Thinking and Talking About Being an NFL Evaluator. I'm looking forward to reading that book. You can get it at Amazon, all those places where you normally get your books. All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, Bill, and we'll come back for the final segment. Got a couple of other things that I want to talk about real quickly, and then we'll come back. We'll wrap it up. We'll take your phone calls, your texts. If you want to get in.
Can't take no calls. The phone lines are busy.
Phone lines are jammed right now. You want to reach out to our text line, 786-322-1105. You got questions on the YouTube chat board, send them in. On the Super Chat, whatever it is. Final segment coming up right here on The Big O Show.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show.
All right, we're back. Apparently the Dolphins, according to Adam Schefter, have released Chester Rogers and Ricardo Lewis per source. I think I told you when Omar asked that question, like you're asking about depth, and it's like, well, your receivers are set. What depth are you talking about, right? And I told you the 5 that are making it, right? And I'm pretty sure I go, Chester Rogers isn't making this team. Well, they already released him. Him and Ricardo Lewis, which of course they weren't going to make this team. These guys, it's more about who's going to be on the practice squad. What one or two guys, and in the end, it's hard to depend on your practice squad to bail you out. You know what I mean? Yes, last year Isaiah Ford helped out because he was on the practice squad early on, and then on the back end finally got his opportunity, but he was here for a couple of years. You know what I mean? So it's just funny how it's just, Chester Rogers. I mean, come on, man. Let's see. Beasley says, much can change with trades, waiver pickups, but for now it looks like the Dolphins receivers will be Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Jakeem Grant, Isaiah Ford, Matt Collins, and Malcolm Perry. Right. And Malcolm Perry will be your fifth guy. Matt Collins is the guy that either is sixth if you keep six, which normally you don't, or he goes to the practice squad. That's it. But there's depth. That's why that question for me didn't. It's like, come on, bro. Chester Rogers is going to make this team. It's not like there's any drama. There's very little drama to the wide receiver positions. The drama would have been if Albert Wilson was still here along with Allen Hurns. Then you would be releasing two of your younger guys on the back end, or you'd be releasing two veterans in Hurns and Wilson because you want to keep the young guys and develop the young guys. That would have been a difficult. Right now, there isn't a difficult decision with the wide receivers. That's the thing. All right. Miles Bennett Dyson says, take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. You better wax that kitchen float, or you ain't rock and rolling no mo. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. There we go. All right. Donald Peterson says, the game is won in the trenches, Big O. How do the Dolphins look going into the season? Well, sir, they have a lot of young guys in the trenches. So we will find out when the season starts and how people are playing and how good they are. But right now, I got to tell you, Donald, nobody knows anything right now at this point. You won't know anything until real games are being played because nobody's really been in a game-like atmosphere. No preseason games here. No practice with another team for 3 days. Nothing. A little scrimmage here or there, which means nothing whatsoever. You don't really get a good feel. And especially for a team like this that is in the developmental stages of certain things. D-line, O-line. So you don't have anything concrete to go on. When somebody has success or failure, you don't know if it's because somebody's overachieving, because somebody's underachieving. And you really can't tell if somebody's actually doing something good because they're facing something that's really good. It's not there. 786-322-1105. Donald says, oh, do you miss the preseason? Yes, I do. Now, listen. I'm the loser that watches the fourth preseason game. Okay?
And you're giving me crap about watching Austin Peay the other night.
Yeah, but I'm watching NFL football. You're watching Austin Peay.
Yeah, but it's a real game. It counts.
Whatever.
Fourth
preseason game, I'm looking for the deep youngsters on the back end of the roster. That's the practice squad, the 52, 53rd man.
The guy that's going to be working for UPS.
Maybe.
In a couple weeks.
Maybe. But then he could be playing for us.
He could be bagging groceries and then all of a sudden become
Could be
Kurt
Bernie
Warner.
Parmalee, UPS, and then running the ball. Could be Bernie Parmalee. Don't say that. UPS can be successful. What can Brown do for you? See? Brown can give us a running back.
As long as it's not a stain.
That's right. That's right. So don't say that. You know what I mean? So I do miss the preseason. You know what I mean? I'm one of those guys. But I love watching practice. I love watching scrimmages. I love watching preseason. My favorite thing is when they go practice with another team. If I can cover that, that would be awesome. Okay? So, it is what it is, as they say. Matt Breida says he received race challenges from Jakeem Grant and another unnamed player. He says he'll accept, but it'll have to wait until the offseason. Breida says he's the NFL's fastest player. All right. Alan Poupar then said, let's remember Matt Breida said earlier this summer that Kalen Ballage had challenged him. Not sure that race ever takes place now. Yeah, no, I don't think so either.
Whenever I hear stuff like this, I remember being at Pace High School and watching them, at Biscayne across the fence, and Duper being a rookie and being challenged to a race after practice. You remember what happened there?
Yes.
Yeah, Duper was done for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's right.
So to hell with those races. You're not a track star, guy. You're here to play football.
Yeah, that's right. Breida says off season, baby. Off season. And yes, Alexa, I am ready for the league. When is the draft?
I don't even know if I'm in or
no,
not.
You're not. They ran
out of spots. That'll happen.
Yeah, that'll happen. So, yeah, they ran out of spots. So it's history in the archives. So we will have some fun with Alexa's league this year. The only league I'm playing in. Only league I'm playing in. That's it. All right, what else do we have going on here on the program to share with you guys? We got a couple of Manti Te'o actually married a woman, and she exists. She's a real human being. I know some of you out there are probably questioning it, going, come on, Manti Te'o tried to pull that on us already once before, but no, this time he has married his real-life girlfriend, Jovi Nicole Ingbino. I think that's how it's pronounced. I got to tell you, she reminds me a little bit of Jada Pinkett Smith. She has a little Jada Pinkett Smith look to her. You tell me if I'm right or wrong here, that she has a little bit of that Jada Pinkett Smith look. What do you think? Right?
I could definitely see it.
Right? A little bit of that look. She has that Jada Pinkett Smith look. So,
cute girl.
Yeah, definitely cute girl. And so happy for him that he married. Says, I couldn't give you the world, but I think this is better. I gave you my last name, and it looks good on you, Mrs. Te'o. That's what Manti says. Yesterday, I got married to my best friend. Wait a minute. Here we go. It backed up on me here. Gus says, I demand phone calls to be taken. I'm with you, bro. I demand it too. Yesterday, I got married to my best friend and the love of my life in an intimate beach ceremony. Although this was not how we envisioned our ceremony, it was perfect. We will be having our reception and celebration when temples and venues open back up again so we can share this special occasion with our families, and I couldn't be more excited. Okay? I mean, he looks like a good dude overall, man. It was just a funny story that ended up going viral, and, it was funny that a guy at that level would be faked out, but still, happy life to Manti Te'o and his girlfriend. Okay, Gus 1388 chiming in with a little super chat. He says, I demand phone calls to be taken. Soon. And by the way, Kenneth in Cleveland, when he sent his last super chat, he put Big O, filet mignon is being served by Halle Berry and Salma Hayek. The question I tell you is, Halle Berry and Salma Hayek are filet mignon. Okay? I mean, those are two of God's greatest creations right there. Halle Berry and Salma Hayek. Like, he made those, and he's like, I'm going to really F with them down there now. I'm going to send these two down there. They're going to rock the world. We're going to make her do a snake scene. We're going to have her topless, holding a gun at you, and we're going to freak the world out. And there you go. That's what's happening.
I want her on a lounge chair eating licorice, just saying hi.
That's it. Nothing wrong with that. Halle Berry would look good in anything, bro.
Of course, we wanted to. No, not. We don't want her in anything. We want her just like in Swordfish, topless.
Okay. Well, I mean,
eating licorice.
That's not a bad thing either. I got to tell you. Josh Gordon's Super Bowl ring was auctioned off. Poor guy. He sold it for $138,000 at a sports memorabilia auction. Gordon was suspended during the 2018 season and did not play in Super Bowl 53. Patriots still issued him a ring because he contributed to the team during the regular season. He is attempting to apply for reinstatement, but there's no indication on whether the NFL is going to reinstate him. I've already said over and over again, the NFL needs to turn the page on Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon is not capable of handling the NFL, not capable of handling the pressures that come with the NFL, and it's clear that Josh Gordon needs to focus on Josh Gordon. And that's the only thing he should be able to try to handle. Football is not something that helps him. Football hurts him. That's why he's failed 800 times in the NFL. And it's embarrassing that the NFL gives people 800 chances. After your second chance, it should be over at that point. He has a serious problem. I hope he addresses it. Okay? And that $138,000, what's he get? Like 60% of that? Like 40% goes to the government? You know? Sad that he's in this position, to be honest with you, man. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, many ways to reach out to us. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because that, my friends, is a 24-hour talk show. Let's see, what else do we have here? Heat want to sweep, and if they don't even want to slip up and allow the Bucks to one game. Well, I mean, I hope that they sweep them. That would be nice. If they win 4-1 or 4-2, that would be outstanding. Just winning that series, however it is. I'm not expecting a sweep from them. Hell, I wasn't even really expecting them to win this series, but if they can win it, however they can win it, bro, I'll take it. You know what I mean? It's not a but if they win the next game, that's going to be really, really good for them. It's going to set them up big time.
If the Heat could smack them down, like good, 4-1, does that put that doubt in Giannis's mind and maybe I need to go get somewhere?
Yes. Yes.
And if you can't beat them,
right,
join them.
Right. No, definitely. Definitely. And if Antetokounmpo continues to struggle with the outside shot and gets exposed by Miami, then, yeah, there's no doubt that that'll be part of the mix. Speaking of Giannis, there's a basketball card for Giannis that could crack the $2 million mark at an auction, which makes no sense because he has not gotten to that stature that he should be worth that kind of money. He's not MJ. He hasn't even accomplished what LeBron has done. He's not Magic Johnson. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's an ultra-rare signed Giannis Antetokounmpo basketball card that features a piece of a game-worn jersey from the Greek Freaks rookie season. The card was originally pulled out of a pack of Panini America's 2013-14 high-end National Treasures line and features the NBA logo man patched from one of Giannis's rookie jerseys. It's a one-of-one card, so it's super rare. The fact that it was graded a mint 9 by Beckett Grading Service makes it even more desirable for the hardcore collector. Even better, the signature on the card received a perfect 10 grading from Beckett Autographed Evaluators as well. Again, the high grading number makes huge difference for collectors at the high-end level. The person who initially pulled the card from a pack years ago sold it to another collector after changing hands a few times. It's now hitting the auction block at Golden Auctions, where they believe there's a strong chance it could break the record for the most expensive card ever sold. A rare, similar LeBron James 03-04 Upper Deck rookie card is currently the GOAT piece when it comes to basketball cards. It famously sold for $1.8 million last month. The LeBron card was now one of one. There were 23 of those made, and Bron had bragged that he had a few sitting around his home. The rare card market is on fire right now, and a Topps 2009 Superfactor Mike Trout card just sold at an auction for $3.93 million. $4 million for a baseball card. Okay? The bidding begins at $250,000 on Monday, and after a flurry of quick bids, it's already cracked the $500,000 mark. Ken Golden, who runs Golden Auction, says he wouldn't be surprised if it cracks $2 million by the bidding time ends September 20th. So get in on it right now.
That's a little bit ridiculous, ain't it?
It's insulting. It's just, I find it to be.
Is this a sign of the times, the immediate gratification? You're not willing and like they say, collectibles, man, it's whatever somebody out there is willing to pay. You know?
Yeah.
We could value it at $100,000.
Right.
Idiot walks up at $500,000. Yeah, there. Guess what it's worth now.
I love Mike Trout, but $4 million for a card for Mike Trout? Come on, he hasn't won anything. I know he's a great player.
Has he even played in a playoff game?
Maybe one.
Maybe a series. Maybe. We might be
because they suck. They really suck. I mean, they're poorly run. But yeah, dude, it's just weird. Weird. I mean, I don't see it. I'm sorry. I wouldn't pay for that. I mean, but then again, somebody that's paying that kind of money, they're filthy rich. So it's, it's like if we went and bought a jersey for $50. That's what it is for somebody like that. It has to be. There's no way. It's not like you're spending $3.93 million and you're worth $4.93 million. And so now you've spent, 80% of your inheritance or value.
This is chump change.
It has to be. It has to be.
Hey, guess what I found in the couch? Let's go get that card.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's nuts, man. So that Giannis card for $2 million. That's crazy stuff. How about this? How about if you had a neighbor who banged your wife and then left you a message to tell you that he banged your wife and then gave you another tip? Well, that's exactly what happened in this neighborhood, where a woman slept with a man's husband, okay? Then the woman found the wife's car and left a note on the car. And she says, FYI, I effed your boyfriend. He said you were broken up. I live in San Diego. 1, wash your car. 2, dump him. And then she put in parentheses under that, not in that order. Okay? That's the note you find on your car. Now, you could look at it as a bad thing. I think you got to look at it as a good thing. 1, they're reminding you that you're a slob, that you never clean your car. And 2, they're telling you that that person is unfaithful, so you might as well, check out. So they did you a favor, but the only problem is there was an STD involved. So now you wonder whose fault is the STD. Did the guy have it? Did the new woman in the mix? Did the dirty car woman have it? How do you react to that? You're pissed, but you're kind of thankful, aren't you? Because somebody was nice enough, at least, that after they banged your boyfriend or girlfriend, they realized that they weren't single after they lied to them, and they go, oh, I'm getting back at this effer. Okay, I'm going to find that boyfriend, girlfriend, and their car, and I'm going to leave a message. And what I love about the list is it says stuff to do. You notice that? Oh, there we go. At the top, it says stuff to do. And then it has everything else in it.
They're helping with their daily planner.
I think it's awesome. I think they're doing.
It's quite a service, you know.
Yeah.
There's a little schedule for you, things you should do.
Yeah, I mean it's awesome, dude. It says stuff to do at the top.
I'm
of
just
the note.
making a suggestion here, not telling you what to do. Just a suggestion. You can do it or not.
While you were gone, I effed your boyfriend. I noticed your car was dirty. Clean it up. Just trying to help you out here. Maybe you'll get a better man if you got a cleaner car. You know, maybe and she should have put, I hope you keep your coochie cleaner than your car. You know? Did she write that in baby blood? That's terrible. Fishy twist. Yeah, that's a fishy twist. I would go with that. That's what you get for banging around. STDs, the gift that keeps on giving. Yep, you're right about that.
Or you could do Eddie Murphy. It's like luggage. You just carry that around for the rest of your life.
That's it. That's it, dude. That's all. All right, it's time to wrap it up here on the show. We thank all of you, as always, for tuning in. And remember, Thursday, we're double dipping. Tomorrow, we're at VSS West Pines. We'll be on around 11:30 or noon, right around there. And then we've got the game on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we're double dipping. We're going to be at Toyota of Hollywood from 10 to noon. And then we're going to be at Hialeah Park around 2 o'clock, maybe 1:30, 2. You never know. Something like that. Depends on, the travel and setting everything up.
Tráfico,
yes, tráfico. So we'll do that. And so Thursday will be the double dipping, and we'll have 2 shows. And then Friday, we'll be at Craig's Inn Acura for our normal stop at 11 a.m. out there. So we'll have a little fun. All right? Appreciate all of you out there as always. Thank you for supporting the show. Our super chatters, Cody Douglas with multiple chats, Kenneth Cleveland, as always, with multiple chats, multiple super chats. Thank you, my brother, Cookie Vice, Gus 1388, all of you out there. Super chat.
No way.
Yes way. No way. Yes way.
They were fantastic.
Super chat. Thank you all out there. Thanks to all the folks on the chat board. Thanks to the people that sent in texts on the Twitter, supporting our sponsors, downloading the show. Very important. Thank you to everybody downloading the show. As always, we thank Jordan McPherson from the Miami Herald and Neil Stratton from Inside the League. Bill and Philippe getting it done on the audio and video side. Josh Studley chiming in with a super chat on the way out. Thank you, Josh. Very kind of you sending in a super chat. Josh keeping us here.
Do you have a meeting we can make you late for, sir?
Yeah, no meetings today that you're going to make me race to get to. Not today. Tomorrow, no meeting, but tomorrow we have a game. So tomorrow
We got
it's
2 games, actually, sir.
Oh, because we have the Heat game. Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't the Heat play? Don't
Yeah.
forget about our playoff Heat team,
Yeah.
brother.
So I'll be watching the Heat over at the stadium tomorrow. So I'll be
You'll
part
be
of.
double dipping tomorrow night, be double dipping the next day.
Yeah,
You're
I'll-
just a double dipper.
I'll be into one broadcast and then watching another.
You're like George Costanza.
Yeah.
You're like the double dip.
That's right. That's what it's all about. And remember our picks: Celtics plus 1.5, over 217.5. I'm taking the Nuggets -1 and the over 218.5. Those are our picks. We're going with 4 selections today. Good luck. Enjoy the game.
Anybody else want to keep O here?
No. Be safe. Y'all be good out there. Thank you as always for supporting the show. You guys are the best. We'll see you tomorrow. Be safe. Wear your mask. Save a life. All right. Much love.
Till tomorrow. We'll